Hey, what's going on, devil dogs and devil dogettes? It is a Saturday, and I'm having a real motivating freaking doggone Saturday today. And I am attorney Michael Ehline, and I've got my cover on, but don't worry, I'm under arms. And no, I'm not in violation of the UCMJ because it's obvious by looking at me that I'm not an active duty Marine anymore. So all you morons who think that wearing your Marine Corps garb when you're not in anymore is some kind of a federal violation, read the statute a little closer. It literally says if it's, if it's obvious that you're not active duty, you can tell by looking at me. I'm not squared away right now, but I got my EGA, so I always love showing it off. So today, guys, I blew out my calf muscle, so I wasn't able to make it to the gym today. So I'm in a really bad mood because I had a rough week. But Jody Shiloh convinced me to come back on today and do a show for you because I saw some really crazy stories about a judge who made a false allegation of racism on social media to try to gain favor. And we see that over and over and over again where, CNN, PMS, NBC, basically the Marxist run press, the enemy of the American people, will come on and they'll accuse a certain political candidate of being a racist. And then fact checkers will come out who are on their payroll and say that this person or that person was racist. And then later it'll be proven that they were lying, but the press will never issue a retraction. And so I just want to state at the beginning, first of all, I'm a lawyer licensed to practice law in Texas and California. I do personal injury law. Everything that I do on my show is separate and apart from my work as a personal injury attorney. I have a background in appellate law and criminal defense, and I'm also a civil litigator. And I have done, I have extensive experience in anti-SLAPP defamation claims. So I understand how the law works. I also understand Section 230 and how it's being misapplied to allow social media platforms to escape liability from defamation by arguing 230, which they shouldn't be able to do. And hopefully Jason Fick is going to clean that up for us in the near future. But in the interim, I am also a civil rights lawyer, and I don't like it when people spread misinformation and the press doesn't issue a retraction. It really bothers me. So I'm going to come out today and do I look squared away, Jody? Tell me, am I looking good? Let's make sure I got comms. What's the matter, you? Yes. Thanks, man. Hold on. Thanks. What's the matter, you? I wasn't looking. Let me, thanks, man. Hold on. Let me put my freaking doggone cover back on there, yo. And you can tell that I was a jarhead because, you always got to do this is how we wear our boonie covers in the Marine Corps. We don't do the little girly's chin strap. Got to make sure my EGA is lined up. For all you civilians, EGA means you're freaking doggone. Hold on, let me make sure I'm squared away. Okay, looking squared away in the back. All right, this is called the cover, and they used to call them boonies. They don't call them boonies anymore. But anyways, when I was in, we didn't even have these. One of my buddies who was in MARSOC gave me his, and he did several tours over in Afghanistan in the Helmand province, and his name was the Helmand Hunter. And he even sold me his 1911 Colt M45, which is not the official Marine Corps one, but it has the USMC on the slide, which they're no longer allowed to sell because the Colt Custom Shop came onto the base and gave those MARSOC Marines the first chance to buy them. So I actually have, I wish I could show it to you, a real one, and it's got the black nose because he told me don't ever clean the black nose off because that's what makes it cool. So anyways, I'll take this cover off because it's freaking hot in here. But thanks, what's the matter, you? I appreciate that. And so, hey, what's going on? 50, 150 there. You drop and give me 50 there, crazy one. Put a cover on that grape there, you. All right, there, you. So, yeah, I'm from the Marine Corps before we had all the woke nonsense where it was purely a merit-based organization. But I'm pretty sure it's probably still similar. It's like being a prisoner with a gun. You love it when you're out. You hate it when you're in. That's the Marine Corps. We do so much with so little. We can do anything with nothing. So anyways, this show today, I'm going to cover the fake racism nonsense that the press pushes primarily to go after Orange Man And then when it's proven that they lied and it's proven that the story's false, they never issue a retraction. So because about 80% of the American people are not really critical thinkers, they're public school educated or they've been brainwashed on college campuses. They don't really know how to do their own research. So they think that anything they hear from CBS or MSNBC is the truth. And when they don't issue retractions, when they've been proven to be false, people assume that it's true. So it's really a big scam. And then you have people like Hillary coming out, like Broom Hillary, right? Come out and say that people need to go to special camps to be reprogrammed, and that only the government should be able to decide what's true and what's false. But then as a lawyer, when I look at the evidence and I see that 99% of the stuff out there that's false is coming from the same people that Google and Facebook and these other social media sites, the DNC say are the true sources of information, right? Like CNN supposedly is like a valid source of information. So they get pushed to the very top of the search engine results, hoping that Elon Musk gets his search engine built quickly so we can at least have some real information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a little bit of the history of why this false narrative that there's just like this wave of white racism and we have to like do something to stop it, why that is still being pushed. And the main reason is because of money. I'm going to get into the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center, and we're going to talk about the millions of dollars they get of your money, including companies like the NPR, which is like, I think their entire board is hardcore leftist Democrats, but they receive U.S. tax dollars to cover news. And so me being a libertarian, I don't support either party, but I do support truth. And it really bothers me when anyone's painted in a false light. I don't care if it's Donald Trump or even if it was Mussolini. You know, if it's not a true story, and the same people who are spreading the lies are accusing me and you of disinformation, I find that to be problematic, especially as a lawyer, somebody who lives their life based upon the rules of evidence. And so, for example, in California, it used to be Evidence Code Section 412. When stronger and more powerful evidence is available and within the capability of the other side to present it, and it's not produced, the evidence that is produced shall be viewed with distrust by the court. And so pretty much all of the evidence that you hear from MSNBC, CNN, C-SPAN even to a large degree, and especially National Public Radio, is biased, far left dribble, and it's not true, most of it. And so that really bothers me. I miss the days, and it wasn't even that neutral, but it was far more neutral when I was younger. Now they don't even fake it. I mean, most news is now just basically a political operation. It's basically the propaganda wing of the DNC. Even Fox News is controlled opposition. It's not even really, I mean, there's really nothing out there that really just gives you a neutral viewpoint of what the news is out there. There's always a political spin. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree that most news that we get now is political and it's basically propaganda. And some people say it's because Barry Soetoro, what did he change his name to run for president? Obama. I guess he changed the law to where propaganda, overseas CIA propaganda, no longer has to be kept off American shores. Somebody in the sidebar helped me out with that one. I can't remember which one it is. Let me know about the comms. What's going on, Ralph Riley? Arr! Good seeing you, man. Hey, did you see my cover? I had my cover on for you a little bit ago. OTCAF. Yes, OTCAF, age go. Thanks, Christopher. Thanks, Anthony Serrano. And so, guys, I blew out my calf today going down the steps. I'm not even supposed to be going downstairs because I have a bad knee that locks, and I've fallen downstairs from my injuries from being in the Marines, and suffered a head injury a while ago from that. It's probably one of the reasons why sometimes you guys will see me going blank from not being all there anymore like I used to be. But I do my best. So Jody Shiloh, thanks for being here. Dura Diesel, love seeing you. And we're going to get into, I'm going to cover this story about this judge and just show you, why do these guys keep lying? Like, why is it so important to keep this lie that there's this epidemic of white racism? Well, we all know it's bull crap, right? We know it. Like, I'm in an interracial marriage. When I was in the Marine Corps, pretty much all of our guides in boot camp were black, and that was back in the 80s. And they were squared away just like any other white guy. We called them dark green Marines, and we called the white guys light green Marines, but to me, they're just Marines. If you're in a combat situation, you could give a rat's ass what color the guy is. You just want to know that he's got the right moral character and that they're going to be squared away, and make sure they bring your body back home to your family, and vice versa, that we're going to do that for each other. So all that stuff to me is just nonsense. It's a lie that's being spread by one political party. They replaced wealth with race. The communists, the Marxists who run our educational system, replaced wealth with race. So that's why they're pushing critical race theory. Now, if you're white, you're an oppressor. And if you're any other race, you're oppressed, of course, unless you're Asian. And then you're in the same category as white people, apparently. It just doesn't make any sense. It's all just another form of racial division and hate. And they're doing everything they can to make our founding fathers look like they're terrible, because in my opinion, the World Economic Forum needs to destroy our Constitution and Bill of Rights. So they've made it very clear that there's no such thing as human rights. And God is just a made up story, and that we can use AI to predict the elections. Yes, predict. You could use the AI to predict the elections. So you don't even need to vote anymore. Yeah. So, you've got these yahoos, and they're paying all their money, including Soros, to the political elite, and the political elite are doing their bidding. And one of the number one things they want to do is censorship, and they want to silence you. And this crazy false racism narrative, it just drives me bananas. Constantly being looked at just because of the color of my skin, that somehow I'm racist. And it's not enough to not be against racism now. Now you have to be anti-racist. And why is that? Well, we're going to get into that. But it's primarily because these non-governmental organizations, we keep talking about this, non-governmental organizations that rely on tax grants, in order for them to stay in existence, including governmental agencies themselves, like the FBI, they've got to invent crime in order to justify their existence, right? Just like anything else. These bureaucrats, right? So they live off of creating scandals and problems, right? To a large degree, not totally, but they, in order to grow, right? In order for these agencies to grow, they have to create boogeymen. And right now, apparently it's white males. And we're going to get into that a little bit and how ridiculous that is. Because anybody on my channel who knows me knows that I have absolutely no time for racists. And what really bothers me even more than anything is that my friends who are Jewish, I still don't understand why they would have anything to do with the Democrat Party when the Democrat Party is supporting, burning Jewish flags, these anti-Jewish Palestinian campus movements where they attack Jewish school professors. And, the people who helped me coming up as a lawyer almost exclusively were Jewish. And so I worked with them, and that's how I learned law, from studying under the best Jewish lawyers in the country. So it really bothers me that now we have these jihadi movements being pushed by George Soros, popping up all over the place, calling people like me and them racist, when these people are literally acting just like the NSDAP under Hitler. I mean, they're acting just, and of course we know that Hitler even had his own Muslim SS unit called the Hanshar unit, and that the PLO still does the Hitler salute to this day. Under the Grand Mufti, they started basically doing the same type of salutes as the Nazis, because Hitler had his own Muslim SS unit. And we see the Campus Crusaders now are acting just like those guys. And so for them to call someone like me racist or a Nazi when they're basically emulating the same behavior, it just blows my mind. Give me a bunch of ones if you guys agree, and then we're going to get into the show. Anthony Serrano. And so look, I know like a lot of you guys are Trump supporters, and that's fine. I don't put my faith in political creations. My dad used to be, my dad was a Trump supporter until he met him and Trump wouldn't shake his hand. Because back in the 80s, this is before he was running for president, my dad was an entrepreneur. He was a custom home builder. He started out building Denny's restaurants. Prior to that, coming back from Vietnam, he started out as a ditch digger, making $2 an hour, got a job working for CBR Development Company because he was a motivated, squared away, two-tour Vietnam artilleryman, 0848 Marine. He used just that tenacity and drive and just the probably PTSD, worked, basically 18 hours a day digging ditches. His manager saw him, and they saw how motivated and squared away he was and how good with numbers he was, because he used to call in all the numbers on the cannons, right? And he ultimately ended up building all of the Denny's restaurants in the United States. In fact, if it's not a new Denny's restaurant, my dad built it. And that was just from grit and being a motivated guy. So my dad, when he started doing custom home building, he bought that book, Art of the Deal, and he thought Trump was the man. And so he went to meet him, and Trump wouldn't shake his hand. And being from my background, being a Swede, right, we're all about, the firm handshake where you almost break the guy's hand and you look him square in the eye. And so my dad thought from that point on, he was a total pussy. And so, me being the son of my father, I didn't really have any respect for Trump. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm pushing the Trump agenda or anything like that. I'm super happy that he appointed the Supreme Court justices that he did, because we wouldn't have had the Bruen case. And basically the Bruen case was an adjunct to DC versus Heller and Heller versus DC. And many of you guys know that I represent Dick Heller in certain situations. I didn't represent him in those cases, but my friend Alan Beck, who is one of the premier Second Amendment rights lawyers in the country, introduced me to Dick Heller. And in turn, I became friends with Dick and introduced Dick Heller to Chili DeCastro. So that's the connection. So in fact, the very first time I met Chili DeCastro was with Dick Heller. So I was really excited to meet Chili, because he has a very similar political outlook as me. He's pro Second Amendment, he's pro natural law. And so naturally, I just wanted to meet the guy, and we'd both been beat up by cops. So I was beat up by a West Covina police officer. So I'm not one of these thin blue line guys either. And that's what motivated me to become a lawyer. And in fact, I became a lawyer with no undergrad or law degree. And then after I was a practicing lawyer, I went and got a Juris Doctorate to prove all the academic weirdos who think that you need to have a piece of paper on the wall that means something. But I was already making tons of money practicing law and going to court before I even got a JD. I was already a practicing attorney. So just to give you a little bit of my background, I want to qualify this so you guys understand that I'm not sitting here trying to campaign for Donald Trump at all. I think that he did a lot of good things with the Supreme Court justices, but what I don't like, what happened to him, is the false racial attacks where they're trying to accuse him of being racist. Kamala Harris lied at the debate about what, when we're going to talk about it, wasn't fact check, of course, because CBS holds water for the Democrats. And that's why he didn't do a second debate, because he finally woke up and realized that these people doing these debates are just basically propagandists for the Democrats. And so, that's fine. But at least, people on my channel recognize that. We have Republicans, Democrats, and libertarians on my channel, and we all recognize that it's all just a big scam. And we'd love to see the repeal of the 16th and the reinforcement of the 2nd, and for the government to basically just leave us alone, abolish these administrative agencies, because all they do is just try and grow and grow and grow. And then, of course, they use their money, put it into the Service Employees International Union, and give it to Democrats. And then they, in turn, pass laws to take away and restrict more of our freedoms, which we don't want. We want to have a stronger Second Amendment. We want to have secure borders. People are coming into our country. We don't want them bringing in tuberculosis. We don't want to see 20 million illegals coming in. We don't want to see non-governmental agencies bringing in unaccompanied minors into our country. We have no idea where they're going. We don't know anything about it, but yet you and I have to pay for it. So we don't like that. So give me a bunch of ones, guys, if we're still on the same page, because we're going to get into this right now. And yeah, God bless America. Absolutely. Ryan Brandt says Scamala. That's right. Silver D5 says, take faith. This is God's plan. I know, he's amazing. God bless America. Well, I'm a man of faith too. So, I'm with you there. I believe that we're all connected by spiritual energy. And I believe in the Declaration of Independence, that all of our rights come from a creator. And that means they can't be taken away by government. And that's probably why the Marxists hate us, people like us, because they do not want to have a situation where they can't take away and restrict our rights. They want to put us into 15-minute cities, decide what we can eat, decide what's healthy for us. And we don't want that. So welcome to Team MPE. If you're new here, I typically don't do shows this late on a Saturday night. Sometimes I skip Saturday night because I'm so burned out and sore from working out. But today I couldn't work out because I blew my calf out. So the first thing I want to do is get into a little bit of housekeeping. Chili DeCastro has been having a lot of problems. He's my friend from Delete Laws. So I promised him that I would start promoting his new website. What's going on is his account's being throttled constantly by the thought police. And so what I'm doing is, let me see if I can get this link in here for you guys. Dag nabbit. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. I just want to get this, got to square this away. I'm going to drop this link for you. All right. So teamdlz.com. All right. I want you to take a look at that. He can't even post content without his entire platform being demonetized. And of course, you guys saw the thought police demonetize me when I started talking about Julian Assange and how he'd exposed Pizzagate and all that stuff with Hillary. And we know that the lapdog media covered for her, and that now we know that the people who said that it was all a scam, right, who said Pizzagate was, the fact checkers who said Pizzagate was false, ended up getting arrested for PEDOPHILLIA. Think about that. The same people who covered for, those same people are getting arrested. And then, of course, we know that Anthony Weiner, Kuma Abadu, whatever, Boobaduba, her aide, her aide's ex-boyfriend, was caught with tons of child porn on his laptop. And allegedly there was information about Pizzagate on the laptop as well. And all that was just swept under the rug. And so we know the administrative state is all in. They own the administrative state. And so we're not able to get true information. And we know that social media carries water for them, these social media sites, and they cover up for them. So as a result, guys like Chili and I are constantly getting shadow banned and having problems. And so Chili finally just said, screw it. And he came up with teamdlz.com. And I just want to share this with you really quick. It offers you the ability to watch his content uncensored and unfiltered. And by the way, guys, I'm not making any money for this. I'm doing this because I love Chili as a brother. I care about this guy because he's a freedom fighter. And I don't care if you don't like his attitude or you think he comes off the wrong way. I had plenty of guys in the Marine Corps who were way worse, but I knew one thing about them, that they would be there for me if there was a problem. And I see that about Chili, that he puts up his own money to help people who are in trouble. So love him or hate him, he is a freedom fighter. And, you know, a lot of our founding fathers didn't get along, but they joined together for a common cause. And so I want you to take a look at the teamdlz.com website. I haven't joined it yet because I'm just not rolling in dough right now. I'm barely making it. When Gavin Newsom shut down the economy, it really destroyed our law firm. And so I'm pitching pennies. So a lot of you guys think, oh, lawyers are rich. Yeah, I've made millions of dollars, but I've lost millions. And now I run a deficit every month. And my wife doesn't like it that I'm doing these shows. But for me, spiritually, it's important that I do this because I'm getting older. And I want my children to see that their father is a freedom fighter. I want them to see that you cannot be complacent, that you're always one generation away from losing everything. And when you allow communists and Marxists and illegals to flood into your country who know nothing about your way of life, and they're just getting free stuff and they're not having to earn anything, you know their loyalty is going to be to those politicians who gave them everything for free out of your paycheck and not to your Constitution. They didn't earn it. They just came up here and were offered everything for free. They immediately get driver's license, and according to many, they're being registered to vote. And we know that several Obama and Biden judges basically ruled that we have to leave these illegals on the voter rolls. I mean, that's crazy. How did they get on the voter rolls to begin with? Just blows my mind. You know, what the hell is going on with our country, guys? So I want you to take a look at the Team DLZ website and support Chili DeCastro and his cause of First Amendment and government accountability. And so this is his website. It's called teamdlz.com. You can't get much easier of a name to remember. And that means delete laws, DLZ. I think he should have called it chilidecastro.com because his name is his brand, but you know, I'm not going to tell him what to do. I'm just glad that he's doing it and that he's not sitting there and complaining. He's taking proactive steps to make sure that you guys can get his content unfiltered. And so I definitely recommend that you support his channel. And good seeing you, BZ Watchdog. And look, I'm not ignoring anybody. I just don't have my computer set up right where I've got to look down here to see everybody. So let me see if I can set it up to where at least I can see you guys on this screen. Just give me 1 second. And everybody, BZ Watchdog is one of my Marine brothers. So I'd like it if you would click on his profile and that you would join his channel and subscribe. He is one of the best, if not the best, public records request people I've ever met. He's somebody who does a better job than me on tracking down public records. Okay, that's a little better. Now I kind of see people over here. Okay, so yeah, so D says, I was shocked about not being asked for my ID when I voted this morning. Yeah, but as soon as you get pulled over, cops want your ID. And then you see these mealy mouthed little liberals right off the college campus say, but those poor black people, they just don't, they don't know how to get an ID. They don't know how to use a computer. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, how racist can you be? How what a gaslighter to sit there and say that black people aren't intelligent enough to get an ID. How disgusting. Give me a bunch of ones if you think that's disgusting. I mean, it's just downright like abusive to me. Totally disrespectful that they're saying that the reason why we shouldn't have to show an ID and prove that we're citizens in order to vote is because it's racist to black people. That's insane. It's absolutely unfair and it's racist. And it makes sense because we know that the Democrat Party, they were the founders of the Ku Klux Klan, right? We know that. We know that the American Bar Association, one of its primary functions was to make sure that blacks couldn't get into the practice of law. And I think most of the heads were like grand masters of the Ku Klux Klan. That's the history of the ABA. And in my book that I'm going to have coming out hopefully in the next couple of months, I'm going to cover that for you. That's why the blacks started their own bar association. There's a whole history behind this. And so I just find it crazy that the Democrat Party's answer was, well, let's pass the Civil Rights Act and break up the black family and get them all on welfare, right? So break up the black family, right? That's the mission, because in order to collect welfare, the birth father can't live in the same house as the birth mother, and that just makes me sick. And so, and obviously, they're not a family unit anymore at that point. So Martin Luther King taught us that we need to build parallel systems and work outside of that racist system. And now, it's white people are the new targets, right? We're the new targets. They're saying that we're the enemy, and they're calling us oppressors in the schools and the college campuses. So we need to form our own parallel systems. And you non-racist people of color, I guess that's what you call it. See, when I was growing up, I'll be honest with you, in the 80s, I didn't see color. Like, to me, people were just people. And I grew up in construction, so everybody I worked with was Hispanic or a Mexican, Honduran, Guatemalan. I learned Espanol, from in construcciones, like the good Spanish, like órale güey, chingón, like the bad Spanish, malo español. Pero I worked with all the different tradesmen, and to me, I stayed in tents in the backyards of families. I moved out of my house. My dad and I didn't get along that well. He was suffering from major PTSD from Vietnam. So those guys, I lived with Mexican families and Guatemalan families, slept in tents and worked construction. And to me, like, there's no such thing as, they're human beings. And so when I hear these college scumbags tell me that I'm an oppressor because I have white skin, it just makes my stomach cringe. Good seeing you, Brick Jonesy. So give me a bunch of ones if you believe in justice for all and a colorblind society. Holy crap. How long was I off, guys? How much did you guys miss? How much did you guys miss? I didn't even see that I was down. Can you guys still hear me? Do I have 5x5? We got 5x5, guys. Can you hear me now? Okay. Well, did you guys hear me at least, or was it completely down? Gosh, that's terrible. Thanks, Brick. So what I was trying to do is show you Chili DeCastro's new channel. So let me, man, I got to get him back up. Stand by. Man, that sucks. And you're probably right. You look, there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on lately with YouTube. Obviously, they don't like guys like Chili and I, for whatever reason. Well, we know why, because we're against the administrative state. Can you guys see me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. I just want you guys to please take a look at Chili DeCastro, the Team DLZ website. Okay. So this is it. It's called teamdlz.com. I know that he's been really bummed out about the way his channel's been getting throttled. And so I'm putting it back up here for you so you can see it. Yeah. Team DLZ for the win. That's right, Brick. So I just wanted to kind of like segue in about what my channel's about, and how I believe that you can have everything in life that you want if you can help other people get what they want. And as I'm aging and getting older, what I really want is for my children to grow up in a society that had at least as much freedom as I had. And I'm really worried about them. And so that's why I'm doing these shows. And obviously, if you guys can help me with my channel with super chats, or buy a copy of my ebook, which I'll show you in a little bit, that will help me support my channel, because I'm not doing as well as I used to. Obviously, if you know someone who got in a car accident or a motorcycle accident in California or Texas, or a slip and fall, those are the types of cases that I do, and that's how I support my family. But in order to help me support the channel and grow, and for me to continue helping guys like Chili, like I said, if you guys can throw me a super chat or anything like that, even if it's just a couple bucks, it would mean the world to me. I'm not going to beg though. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing the channel. And that's right. What's the matter, you? That's what they call guys like me, ambulance chasers. But I don't chase ambulances. I get a lot of referrals from veterans, inactive Marines primarily, who have been in really bad motorcycle accidents, because they know that when I look them in the eye and shake their hand, that I'm going to go the extra mile for them and their families. And so that's what I do. I just care about people, and I'm just an unusual kind of lawyer because of my background as a blue collar person. So what I'm going to do really quick is just kick off my show the regular way that I do. And then, by the way, guys, thanks a lot for letting me know that my feed was down. I do believe that Chili and I are being targeted, and it's probably the frauditors too. They're probably constantly trying to mess with our channels, but that's all the more reason for you guys to support. Thanks, Age Go. I'm the best ambassador of ambulance chasers. What doesn't kill you can only make you stronger. So just remember that what doesn't kill you can only make you stronger. And so all this stuff that the administrative state and their instrumentalities and big tech are doing are ultimately going to force all of us to form our own parallel systems. And so what Chili's doing is the first step in forming a parallel system. So bravo, Chili. That's what I've been preaching ever since I met you and you got put in the can. I've been preaching to all your audience when I was trying to help you run your channel, even though I wasn't obviously as good as you. I was always preaching that we need to form parallel systems like Martin Luther King did in order to make society better. Why participate in a system that hates you? Martin Luther King said, why would you let your enemy teach your children? And that's why I'm a proponent of homeschooling, homesteading, and growing your own food, collecting your own rainwater, and forming parallel systems with people. Even if you don't see eye to eye on everything, you need to form a political form of détente, because all of you guys in Team DLZ, regardless of your politics, you all matter to me, Team DLZ and Team MPE, and we all need to look at each other as allies. And it would be no different than we all have our own kingdoms and we all have our own families. But at the end of the day, we have to form alliances. As Benjamin Franklin said, gentlemen, we surely must hang together or we all will definitely hang separately, or words to that effect. Rick Jonesy, you know more about this than I do. And yes, you're right. What's the matter, you? Malcolm X said, why would you let your enemy teach your children. That is correct. But let me kick off my show really quick with my standard invocation, and then we'll get into some reaction videos, and we'll get
to
into
another edition of Ask Michael Ehline. This is where I teach people the law in an unorthodox manner by using examples that we see in the news, case law briefs, but it's all about exposing the Leviathan and its instrumentalities and taking back your rights. Know the law and mean to keep it well. Come here to learn from an expert to know your right. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel.
That's right. Brick Jonesy makes a very valid statement. Family is what's most important. And we know that the radical Marxists, their goal is to destroy the family. And they started with this whole Civil Rights Act under Johnson, who was a absolute racist, and he hated black people. And that whole Civil Rights Act, you know, I think that it was good intention, but poor execution, as they say in the Marine Corps. Good intentions, poor execution. That Civil Rights Act broke up the black family, and it's done a lot of damage to the black community, not having fatherless families. Look, having a father is just so important. It's just vital, especially to young boys. In fact, it's proven that young men who grow up with single fathers have a statistically far lower chance of being put in prison than with a single mom. In fact, it's about the same lowered chance as an intact family. It's a little bit less when you have a mother and family statistically. And now I know you're going to have some Harvard academic Marxist commie come out and say, oh, well, that's not true. There's all kinds of examples. No, those are called exceptions, guys. There are examples called exceptions, but the rule is an intact family makes for better children. And yeah, there are sometimes bad situations where you have a bad abusive dad or a bad abusive mom, but the rule, and not the exception, the rule is an intact family with a strong father figure makes for better children. It makes for stronger young men because it gives young men guidance. And there's even an example of a zoo in South Africa where there were these elephants that were being poached. And so there were juvenile male elephants. Some of you guys might know about this. It's on National Geographic. There were these juvenile, and I probably can help you, Chris. And if I can't, I can find someone who will. But there were these, for your car accident, their juvenile male elephants were put into a nature reserve, but there were no other male elephants that were adults. It was just these juvenile male elephants. And as they grew, they started killing hippos and other animals throughout the park. Some of you guys may have heard this. Give me a bunch of ones if you guys know the story I'm going to talk about. So check it out. They started just massacring all these animals that they normally wouldn't massacre. So the zoologists were befuddled. But one intelligent zoologist figured it out. They brought in a couple of adult male elephants, and within a couple of weeks, the young juvenile male elephants were grabbing them by their tails, following them around, and they no longer killed hippopotamuses and other animals that symbiotically are their allies in nature. But, you know, young juveniles, they've got high testosterone and they go crazy. Having a strong male leadership is vital for young men. And so the Civil Rights Act, starting under the Democrats, under Johnson, it was the beginning of the end of what was the black family stayed intact. They had low crime. And it's not because of skin color. It's because of what I believe what the left did by breaking up the black family. And at least that's my theory. And I think that there is enough scientific data to back that up. And Chris, I probably can. I practice law only in California and Texas, but I have allies all over the United States. I used to lobby Congress on behalf of cruise ship assault victims, and I helped draft the Cruise Ship Safety Act, both of them. And I'm very connected, and I'll do whatever I can to help you, even if I can't take your case. But we'll do it offline. And if you're in Texas, I can probably help you, brother. All right. So just stand fast. Reach out to BZ Watchdog. He can give you my contact information. So this story is going to blow your mind. But first, I want to get, because you guys got to know, I am still a Marine at heart. So we're going to have a little bit of fun first. And I want to share this story with you. It's a really important story. And I think that all you men need to know what's going on with these scandalous women. All right, all right, all right, Jody Shiloh, all you scandalous women, Jessica C. You know I'm joking, but you guys need to know what's going on. So we're gonna play this video first, and then we'll get into the show.
You stop saying Katie. What are you talking about? You talking to her?
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm not Katie.
That's my girlfriend Hannah, bro. I'm skipping you. You're getting
Bro, what are you talking about, bro? That's literally my girlfriend.
You know this guy?
I don't know him.
What do you do with this guy?
I don't know him.
You do know him. You're
You don't know me. What does that even mean?
You're saying that that's not you?
That's not me.
That's literally you,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
I've never seen this guy.
You were literally just at my apartment an hour ago.
You said you went to go get your nails done an hour ago.
I did get my nails done. They're done.
Wait. She couldn't have been at your apartment.
Well, hopefully this isn't going to happen all night, man. Jiminy Christmas. This sucks, guys. What a nightmare. So BZ, I know you're shouting at me to look at my emails. I don't have time to do that right now, bro. I'm trying to run a show and I keep getting knocked offline. So just bear with me after I do this live, I'll look at your emails. But right now in the middle of a live, I just am not able to do it, especially when I keep getting knocked offline, man. So let me get this video hopped up again, and hopefully you guys will be able to watch the whole damn thing because it's pretty doggone good.
Katie.
Bro, I'm not Katie. Stop saying Katie. What are you talking about? You talking to her?
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm not Katie.
That's my girlfriend Hannah, bro. I'm skipping you. You're getting
Bro, what are you talking about, bro? That's literally my girlfriend.
You know this guy?
I don't know him.
What do you do with this guy?
I don't know him.
You do know him. You're in a
You
picture.
don't know me. What does that even mean?
You're saying that that's not you?
That's not me.
That's literally you,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
I've never seen this guy.
You were literally just at my apartment an hour ago.
You said you went to go get your nails done an hour ago.
I did get my nails done. They're done.
Wait. She couldn't have been at your apartment an hour ago. You said you're in Texas. I'm in Tennessee.
Do you not see that this is the same person in the picture?
No, I see that, but that's also impossible if she was there an hour ago. Where is your girlfriend from?
My girlfriend's from California.
You're from California.
I'm from California.
Did you ever get those papers back from the adoption place?
You were adopted?
Yeah.
If it's not my girlfriend, bro, then I'm going to call her phone right now.
Yeah, I'll hear it, yeah.
What the fuck? Babe,
What?
do you have a twin?
No.
Reaction
What's your
video.
name? I'm Katie. Were you adopted in San Bernardino, California? Yeah.
Babe, I literally think that you guys are twins.
We could be.
You guys are literally spitting image. We should do a trip.
We're going. I booked the flight. They're ready.
What?
Does she like wear SPF 3000?
Does she hate flowers?
Yep. Does your girlfriend know how to drive? You're twins.
Anyways, I thought you guys would like that because, hey, lawyers are people too. I just thought you guys would have a little bit of fun with that. So now we're going to get into the meat of the show. I think you guys are really going to like this. I'm going to prove to you that the administrative state and billionaires and nonprofits are leeching off of your tax dollars by creating a false narrative of racism. And it's crazy. All the racism that I see is coming from the left, not from people like me. And we're gonna see what's going on right now. So let's take a look.
Target of hate during his 2022 reelection. Fort Bend County Judge KP George was indicted and booked into jail on a misdemeanor charge last night.
Okay, so this judge has just been indicted for faking hate crimes against himself as Trump supporter. Get this name, Antonio Scallywag. This is a true story. All right, so listen, people, we've been covering this story for about a month now, and it's insane old stuff. So let me give you a full little recap of how we got here and how the hell a sitting judge is under indictment for pretending to be a Trump supporter and making racist hate crimes against himself. Let's get into it. This is Terrell Patel. He's a Democratic candidate for a local Texas county. Now, this Democrat has connections that go all the way to the White House. He was appointed by Joe Biden to serve in his administration as a liaison to the White House. He also served as a law clerk for the Department of Justice Criminal Division in the Public Integrity section. And he was appointed as a member of the White House's Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islanders Committee, also known as WHAANHPI. That is a long list of letters. Now, Patel is a Democrat, and he's running in Ruby Red, Texas, in a Ruby Red county against a Ruby Red incumbent. Now, Patel is running against Republican and longtime Commissioner Andy Myers. Now, Andy Myers has been on this job for 27 years. Now, during the campaign, Patel had an interesting idea. Now, Patel posted a collage of hateful comments that he says was sent by Myers' MAGA racist Republican supporters. Here is Patel himself talking about the crazy things that have been happening to him online.
A very deeply misguided place of fear that immigrants are coming to take people's jobs or things of that nature. And I try to remind folks is I'm not running against anybody. I'm running for the people, all the people of Precinct 3, whether they like me or not. My goal is to better their lives. But unfortunately, what we hear from a kind of polarized environment is it doesn't matter what my policies are. They're coming after my race, my religion, my nationality, which is American. But, you know, I've been called Indian, Pakistani, so many different things that are not even accurate. But our goal is to respond back with love.
Now, let me not bury the lead here. Everything Patel said was a lie. He actually created the accounts, the fake racist accounts, and attacked himself pretending to be a Trump supporter.
Police say Terrell Patel created a fake social media account, then used it to make racist attacks against himself. He's facing a felony count of online impersonation.
It's so hard for them to find a racist Trump supporter or a racist white person that they have to create them now. That's how bad it is. That this false racism narrative, in order to try to get votes and political power, they try to find these minus 60 IQ voters who buy into the scam. And unfortunately, most of the time, this is just one of them that's gotten caught, guys. Trust me, this is systemic.
In newly obtained court documents, authorities allege Patel stole a Needville man's photo, used it to set up his fake Facebook persona for a man he called Antonio Scallywag. And according to documents, the scheme was uncovered after Patel sent out a press release highlighting racist attacks targeting him and his campaign. Of course, now police believe some of those attacks were fabricated by Patel himself.
Well, you know, Nate, there seems to be a real imbalance in the market between the demand for racism and the supply. Got to give a lot of credit to the people who, when they can't get it on the market, they'll just create it at home. It always pretty much seems to be one side that does that too. For some reason, people coming up through one particular political culture have learned that it's always gold to make yourself a victim.
That's right.
To make yourself a victim of MAGA.
That's right.
Because
exactly.
MAGA is so bad. What's really disappointing about that is not only that it's so dishonest and so cynical, but that these people are prepared to condemn and lie about such a substantial part of the people that they claim to represent.
Now, obviously, that's not Nate, the lawyer. That's my buddy, lawyer Ron Coleman from the channel Lawyer Ron Coleman here on YouTube. And Ron is going to help me explain what's going on next, because now we have a sitting judge. Let me say it again. A sitting judge who has been arrested for the same thing Patel was doing. This judge was using the same.
Not one, but two. Right out of the Camel Toe Harris playbook, guys. Right out of the Jussie Smollett playbook, right? Keeping the fake narrative of racism alive by making up fake racist attacks and blaming it on white people, disparaging people with my skin color, and targeting my family. Like when my kids were going into the public school, hearing like, oh, your dad's white. Oh, well, he's an oppressor. Yeah, exactly.
Account Antonio Scallywag to commit racist hate crimes against himself, allegedly.
That was Judge KP George a couple of years ago in his State of Fort Bend County address. Of course, we had no way of knowing then that those who elected him would eventually see this image, a booking photo of George taken after his indictment and arrest on a criminal charge of misrepresenting his identity to influence an election. According to prosecutors, incriminating text messages between the judge and his former aide, Taral Patel, proved George conspired to create the online identity of Antonio Scallywag and disseminate totally fabricated, racially offensive posts in a bid to gin up sympathy and votes.
Now, do you want to learn a new language? Well, the best way to do it is to uproot your entire life, drop yourself in the middle of a new country, and figure it out from there. But if you're not ready to do that, you can still learn a new language the next best way. That's with Babbel.
All right, so we're not going to get into helping someone advertise. I can't, because then I'll get accused of by YouTube of advertising.
Yale and Michigan State University proved that Babbel works. Plus, with
All right, let me get through it. Jiminy Christmas. All right, here we go. Here we go. So give me a bunch of ones.
All this is because
give me a bunch of ones for Chili trying to get off of all these ridiculous platforms and starting his own Team DLZ website. What a great idea. I think we all need to support his platform, and I'll show you his website again in a few minutes.
Patel worked for the judge. And when they arrested Patel after finding out that he was really Antonio Scallywag, they saw Patel was texting the judge about faking racist hate crimes against himself. Here's the evidence the state has.
According to court documents obtained by Fox 26, on September 26, 2022, the Scallywag account posted on the judge's page as he ran for re-election. Investigators recently obtained cell phone records from George's devices that allegedly shows Patel sending George a message that same day about the fake post that read, quote, "Let me know if you approve. I'll share this post." Documents also show an alleged reply from a number tied to George asking for revisions to the same post. And on September 17th of this year, investigators say when they attempted to seize Judge George's cell phone at his home in Richmond, they observed George manipulating his phone.
Hey, give me a bunch of ones. Give me a bunch of ones for Jilly G. She just joined Chili's site. Sorry, I knocked it off a little bit. So you know what? I'm just going to show you guys again. I'm going to show you Chili's site again. So this is Chili DeCastro's new website. It's called Team DLZ. You know, since he got released from Clark County Jail, his followers, his subscribers have been stuck at around 630,000 people. Now, normally this guy was growing by at least a couple hundred subscribers every couple days. And so clearly he's getting throttled. And now everything that he's posting, they're trying to demonetize it. So he's obviously being targeted. And look, Chili's not even a political guy at all. He's pretty neutral. He hates everybody equally. And so I want you guys to consider joining his channel and supporting him, his website. Look at that neck on that guy, man. You can tell he's a wrestler, right? I wouldn't want to mess with this dude. And I'm a judoka, you know. Wrestlers are bad news, man. They're not somebody to be taken lightly. So take a look at his website. It's teamdlz.com. I'm going to drop it here again for you guys. And again, I'm not making any money off of this. I'm not asking for anything. He's tried to give me money before and I turned it down. Now, if you guys want to throw me a super chat or you guys want to help my channel to help me support my family, then I'm all down. I'm down for that. Right on, Jeff. Well, any kind of martial art is good, Jeff. I do Muay Thai. I used to take Okinawan karate, and to me, because I was always getting into street fights, I found that it was not effective for the type of fighting that a street fight involves, because 99% of the fights that I got into, maybe there's one or two punches and you immediately grab your opponent and it ends up on the ground. And I think most people agree that most fights end up on the ground. And so my parents, having had me in judo since I was 6 years old, put me at a great advantage. But to those boxers that I went up against in street fights, I got my clock cleaned a few times. And since I'm short, I got into Muay Thai. And so I would have the standoff with my legs. And then once I got in, I could use my judo. And then the newaza, which is all Brazilian jiu-jitsu, is the ground fighting. All Brazilian jiu-jitsu is, guys, is it's basically just judo. BJJ, basically just judo. it's the newaza portion of judo. It's the ground fighting. But you have to have the transition from standing to ground, and that's where judo is really important. So striking, grabbing, throwing, ground. So that's the way it works. And in judo, and Chili understands that. It's another thing that sort of connects me with Chili is that he understands the art of fighting. And I'm all about the Bushido code, the samurai code, and I teach my son the samurai code. So anyways, this is the website, guys. I want you guys, if you can, to join and become a member of the Team DLZ website. And again, I'm not taking any endorsements or payment for this, so please don't ban me, YouTube. I'm just trying to help a friend. Now let's get back into this video of these corrupt Indian judges who are basically trying to say that Trump is a racist and that white people are targeting them in order to garner votes by keeping this false racism alive, which honestly, there really hasn't been a whole lot of racism since I was a kid from the white community, unless it was fabricated by the Southern Poverty Law Center or the Anti-Defamation League or people like Obama or race baiters, race hustlers like Jesse Jackson or that other guy. Forgot his name. He used to be fat. Now he's skinny. Sharpton. Let's watch.
Who has been arrested for the same thing Patel was doing. This judge was using the same account, Antonio Scallywag, to commit racist hate crimes against himself, allegedly.
That was Judge KP George a couple of years ago in his State of Fort Bend County address. Of course, we had no way of knowing then that those who elected him would eventually see this image, a booking photo of George taken after his indictment and arrest on a criminal charge of misrepresenting his identity to influence an election.
Like Orwell said, accuse your enemy, right? Accuse your enemy of what you're doing. And that's all they're doing. That's all the left is doing. They're accusing us of doing precisely of what they're doing. And here's another example of it right here, right in your face.
According to prosecutors, incriminating text messages between the judge and his former aide, Taral Patel, prove George conspired to create the online identity of Antonio Scallywag and disseminate totally fabricated, racially offensive posts in a bid to gin up sympathy and votes.
Now, do you want to learn a new language? Well, the best way to do it is to uproot your entire life, drop yourself,
and get back into the main show. Because again, I do want to help these guys support their channel, but at the same time, man, all these crazy rules.
Judge to all this is because Patel worked for the judge. And when they arrested Patel after finding out that he was really Antonio Scallywag, they saw Patel was texting the judge about faking racist hate crimes against himself. Here's the evidence the state has.
According to court documents obtained by Fox 26, on September 26, 2022, the Scallywag account posted on the judge's page as he ran for re-election. Investigators recently obtained cell phone records from George's devices that allegedly shows Patel sending George a message that same day about the fake post that read, quote, "Let me know if you approve. I'll share this post." Documents also show an alleged reply from a number tied to George asking for revisions to the same post. And on September 17th of this year, investigators say when they attempted to seize Judge George's cell phone at his home in Richmond, they observed George manipulating his phone. They state the phone was set to a factory reset after 20 unsuccessful passcode attempts.
Sounds like Hillary.
It's pretty shocking. I mean, I wish I could be shocked, but just say pretty disappointing to see somebody in a position of public trust with so much public responsibility, first of all, being so dumb, because you can't hide text messages, okay? Text messages, they're out there. Yeah. Even if you reset your phone, of course, God knows what else is on that phone, but if you reset your phone, they can get the text messages from your carrier. So he tried to do a Hillary reset on his phone. Same thing Hillary's detail did when she was being, if you recall, investigated for the email server business.
They're scouring the device for traces of classified information. But as Secretary Clinton has admitted, she deliberately deleted over 30,000 messages she deemed private. But are those 30,000 email messages really gone?
And of course, nothing happened to her. She violated her non-disclosure agreement. If you were in the military and you had done what Hillary Clinton had done, you'd be in prison for the next 30 years. You'd never get out of prison. But for some reason, you see the political class, they just exempt themselves from the laws. And, you know, what she did was totally illegal and felonious, using a private email server in her basement to conduct secret and classified business, taxpayer business, and then deleting 20,000 emails using BleachBit, then having her scumbag friends over at the FBI cover for her. That's why at least half the population doesn't trust the FBI. Public trust is gone from our bureaucratic administrative agencies ever since Barry Soetoro put his political leftist operatives in charge of those agencies. At least half the American people doesn't trust them anymore. I mean, it's like the beginning of the end of trust in our country. Another reason for us to form parallel systems.
On forever?
Some people can get away with that. This guy's no Hillary Clinton. It's a really bad idea. Besides the fact that, as I said before, the information isn't going anywhere. Almost everything's being saved to the cloud, and you've got your provider information, but it's just about as good as an admission of guilt.
Yeah.
When you try to clean your phone, and I don't mean with a cloth, when the cops want it, no good can come of it.
So the sitting judge is indicted, his chief of staff is indicted, all because they pretended to be Trump supporters and commit racist online attacks.
Well, Jeff, it's not just that Hillary has money, it's that she knows where all the bodies are buried. See, all these guys are dirty. These are all, look, the heads of these administrative agencies, along with Bill Gates, they're all going to Epstein Island, right? We know that the CIA has a history of getting people dirty like that. There's thousands of hours of videotape. You know, we know that there was operations with little kids going on over there. Probably every single politician in Congress is on tape doing something that's illegal. And now basically all it would take is a couple of corrupt administrative agents, and they basically run our entire government, a shadow government. And that's precisely why you want to elect public officials who are of chaste and moral character, because they can be flipped if they're not. They can be flipped. And then the KGB was well aware of that. That's how they were able to flip a lot of people. That's how the CIA flips people, morally corrupt people. And usually it's a sex tape. Just imagine the thousands of hours of sex tapes. Notice how all the celebrities that were hanging out with Diddy, look, they're what candidate are they endorsing? The same one who had all of her political class hanging out at Epstein Island. Same exact kind of an operation. Give me a bunch of ones if you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Attacks against themselves. Again,
good seeing you, Michelle.
You couldn't make.
By the way, thanks for joining me, Michelle. I will call you later if it's okay. Just get me a number, Michelle, and just tell me what time you need me to call you, and I'll use my alarm and wake up. I know it's important, Michelle. Okay, so thank you for coming and joining me.
Up. This is insanity world.
You know, with this kind of electronic record and the attempts to erase it, let's just say that if this guy walked into my office asking me to represent him and help get him out of trouble, I'd be thinking of a pretty big number, and I'd want it.
I will. What's the matter?
You know, it could be that maybe I'm just a little bit.
What's the matter? I will, brother. You got to understand, man. It's hard, man. Like, you know, I got you guys throwing bombs at me. Check your email. Do this, do that. And it took me an hour just to get the show ready, and I got my mind focused on my mission, and all these side things it's really hard. And then I'm getting knocked offline. So just bear with me because, dude, I'm all about helping people, but just understand I'm fine with that, Michelle. I'll freaking call you. I'll set my alarm. Or you call me if you got my number. I'll email my number to you, and I'll put my phone on loud, and I'll wake up and I'll take your call. All right, sister, I got you.
Too cynical. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think there's a completely innocent explanation for all this? Stuff happens, right? Right.
So we're going to keep you updated on this insane old story of this sitting judge playing Jussie Smollett in Texas. Now, Ron, where can the people find you?
Hey, check out my stuff at Ron Coleman Law here on YouTube. Be careful if you search for my name. Put the word law or lawyer in, or you're going to get the wrong Ron Coleman, who's a real nice guy from what I understand, cool. But a little bit different kind of content.
Now, if you made it to this part of the video, don't forget like, share, subscribe, do it.
Yeah, right on. So I actually met Ron. He's actually a really cool guy. He blew his back out with a nerve injury. He was one of the biggest, strongest bodybuilders in history. And still a super humble guy. So anyways, I got another portion from ABC, even though it's fake news, at least they did cover this story, which kind of blows me away. It's only a few seconds. So let's see what they have to say.
Was charged for allegedly faking racist social media attacks against himself. Well, the search warrant filed yesterday for Judge KP George's phones and computers shows investigators dug deeper and are now able to link Patel's alleged wrongdoing to Judge George. It all goes back to September of 2022 when Patel was George's chief of staff and campaigning for re-election. Investigators say Patel created fake Facebook accounts and then posted racist comments to garner sympathy for his boss. Some of those comments ended up in a collage on social media. The warrant says investigators found text messages from Patel to George telling him he was posting the image.
You know, and this is how you create a race war, right? I mean, they're literally blaming white people, and it's no wonder people are trying to assassinate President Trump, right? I mean, all these lies and fake stories that he's a racist, and now we know that it's all BS and it was made up by scumbags like this trying to get elected. What a joke.
And asking him to approve his response to it.
So, okay, so we got that. Oh, man, it's just crazy. So a lot of this can be traced to these non-governmental organizations. And so here's what's going on. We have organizations like the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center, and their primary mission is to make sure that they can make money, right? It's almost like you start an organization to end cancer, a nonprofit, and then you get $1 billion a year in tax-funded grants to end cancer. Do you honestly think if they found a cure for cancer that they would actually share that with the world? Because as soon as they did, the funds would get cut off. So it's easier to patent a medicine to treat symptoms than it is to cure something. Give me a bunch of ones if you're following, if you're tracking me, because I don't want to get banned from YouTube, because if I say something true that's logical about the pharmaceutical industrial complex, my channel will literally get banned. So we got to make sure that you guys can read between the lines. Groups like the Anti-Defamation League and Southern Poverty Law Center get an enormous amount of money from your paycheck in order to fight and end racism. And they give recommendations to what I call the Obama FBI, because that's really what it is. It's basically a radicalized leftist organization now. And you've seen that from the footage that I've shown you, the whistleblower footage that I've shown you from people who have been forced out of the FBI because they believe in God, because they're not gay or they're not pro-trans. So they're getting pushed out of the FBI. And so the people that are left are people that hate people like you and me that believe in traditional family values, who want school teachers to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic, not worshiping rainbow flags and teaching our kids, our little boys, that they're girls, or telling our little girls that they're really little boys, right? That we don't think that that's the government's job. We think that parents should have a say in the sexual upbringing of our kids, right? And we should be able to, like when I was growing up, to have a sex ed class, the parents had to sign a form because like I didn't learn about the birds and the bees until they called it the birds and the bees. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember this, but when I was growing up, they called it the birds and the bees because it's a sacred thing that you don't just flaunt. You don't flaunt your sexuality around. You don't wave a flag around to talk about that you like to have sex with somebody of the same sex and stuff. That did not go on. That's a recently new phenomena, that the Babylonian thing, right? Back then, you would have to sign a letter. Your parents would have to sign it. And some schools didn't even teach sex ed because it was always up to the parents to decide things like that, because it's a sacred duty of parents to teach their kids in the moral philosophy of that family. It's not the government's job. It doesn't take a village. That's what destroys children. It takes a village to protect kids, but it takes parents to teach and provide love and support. Look, my wife carried my kids inside of her belly. How dare some Marxist scumbag who spent a bunch of time at a university learning how to hate people because of the color of their skin, that they should be able to teach my kids anything beyond reading, writing, and arithmetic. So give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Now let's get back into what's really going on. What's really going on, guys? Let's talk about this. This is a situation that's been going on for a long time. And even when they get caught, this is what really bothers me. Even when these organizations get caught for lying, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, they maybe will cover the story for one day, if they cover it at all, and it disappears from the press. But this is an old story, and it talks about what the Anti-Defamation League did back years ago, and they're still leading government policy They're responsible for this spying program that I covered a couple of months ago that I'm going to cover again tonight. This illegal spying program where the FBI is illegally spying on Americans in violation of the Fourth Amendment, using our bank records to see if we purchased firearms in violation of the Fourth Amendment, to see if we purchased a Bible, to see if we're shopping at Dick's Sporting Goods or Cabela's. Are you freaking kidding me? And this is the same group. I'm going to play this video right now. This is the same group that's leading public policy and telling these FBI agents what to think. They tell the FBI what to think. Listen good.
Applied for a permit to lead a march of Nazis.
Here, listen from the very beginning.
Applied for a permit to lead a march of Nazis
Turn it up
through
if you can't hear
downtown
it.
Philadelphia. Now, eventually, some enterprising reporters did an investigation. You know what they turned up? James Gutman was none other than Mordecai Levy, who worked with the Anti-Defamation League and later split off that to form the terrorist Jewish Defense League. This was an operation that was run by the ADL. They wanted to have a Nazi march in Philadelphia. Why? Because how can they raise money to justify their existence if American Jews don't think there's a lot of anti-Semitism? So what better thing to do than to slap swastikas on a couple of people, lead them on a march through town, and then the next day the ADL comes marching in and says, look, there are Nazis on the streets. You need to give us money so we can protect you. And then on top of that, have a tax-exempt status. This was not a one-time operation. A similar thing happened in Trenton, New Jersey. A man named James Rosenberg, also on the payroll of the fact-finding division of the Anti-Defamation League. Under the name Jimmy Mitchell, he worked to convince a small group of people who called themselves Klansmen. He convinced them to go into Trenton and blow up the New Jersey headquarters of the NAACP. And this was also exposed. There's a long history.
So you get the idea. So this is, this ties right in. Now I'm going to just show you, I want to share with you on the screen what it's really all about. It's about getting tax money. It's about getting your paycheck, basically. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm going to drop this so you can follow along with me. I'm going to throw this in here for you. So on the screen right now, I have basically a checklist, and I'll read it off to you. This is how much money our government is paying the Anti-Defamation League to basically produce bullshit stories about how white people are evil and how there's this racism everywhere, and we need to, spy on people, and we need to spy on parents at school board meetings if they don't support secret transitioning of children by leftist public school teachers, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, that's a Chaos by Tom O'Neill. Take a look. D, thank you so much. Drop the link in there if you can so the audience can know what you're talking about. So here's the money. ADL funding request for 2024. This is going to blow your mind. This is like NPR, right? National Public Radio. It's at like 99% Democrat, but yet they get public taxpayer funding, and their stories are always biased against white people, biased against Trump, biased against Republicans. And again, I'm a libertarian, but I'm telling you, I believe in fairness, and this is ridiculous. Now let's take a look at the ADL's 2024 funding request. This is how much money they're getting from you guys to spread these lies about just good, honest people who simply want to purchase a Bible or buy a gun to defend their family. Check it out. For Homeland Security, from Homeland Security, they have a grant program, $77 million from one agency. Center for Prevention Programming and Partnerships, $200 million. Nonprofit Security Grant Program, $525 million. Online Extremism, Innovation and Research, $25 million. That's like a dime, right? Compared to that other stuff. We're talking like over $1 billion so far. Countering the Commerce, Justice, and Science. This is the next agency. They have all these different programs that are grants that the ADL can get their hands on of your money. Countering Domestic Terrorism, $33 million. Domestic violent extremism research, $26 million. Improving hate crimes reporting, $20 million. Education, training, and technical support funding to effectively prevent and respond to hate crimes, $135,800,000. Now, mind you, they're all nonprofit grants. And so now here's how it works. Now, the people who work for the ADL, guess who they donate money to? And it's not Donald Trump. They donate millions upon millions of dollars back to Act Blue and to Hillary and the Obamas and all these leftist candidates. The ADL doesn't donate money to Republicans or libertarians. They donate it back to the Democrats who give them this grant money. None of this is covered by CNN or PMSNBC or CBS or ABC, because they're all part of the same scam. And what it is, it's a money laundering scam that basically treats people like you and me as if we're racists and evil. They have to keep this fake bull crap idea that we're all racist and evil. And the only way that they're going to be able to come after people like Mike Ehline and Cops Are 5150 is if we give them billions of dollars. That's what this is all about. It's a money laundering scam. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Guys, that's why I need your support. I am the only person out there that's exposing this stuff. And I'm telling you, it's hard. You've seen, I've already gotten banned once by thank you so much, Julie. Exactly. Help me spread the word. I mean, super chats, buy a copy of my book. Even if it's $1, I don't care. I'm not getting billions of dollars from the federal government. And the stuff that I'm teaching is true. I'm not trying to spread false racism in order to steal from the American people and paint your neighbors as if they're racist for $1. I'm trying to help people take back their country because I care about my country. I was a Marine. I've been disabled. I was willing to take lives for this country. I was willing to lose my life for this country. And I'm devastated at what's going on. I'm not done reading this list. This is going to blow your mind. It makes me sick. I'm literally getting sick to my stomach right now because my children have to grow up in a society where politicians are giving people money to lie about me and other people that have my skin color in order to steal from the American taxpayer. Improving hate crimes reporting, $20 million. Education, training, and technical support funding to effectively prevent and respond to hate crimes. That grant is $135,800,000. Addressing hate online, $14 million. Online hate, harassment, and extremism research, $20 million. The next one, increasing transparency and accountability for social media, $10 million. Community relations service, $40 million. Voting sections anti-discrimination work, $40 million. Voting United Against Hate Initiative, $11 million. Online literacy programs, $5 million. Okay, that's just 2 agencies, guys. That's just 2 agencies. Defense, extremists in the military. That's another grant. It doesn't have the amount listed, but I'm sure that's probably millions because you're an extremist if you support the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, right? Next one, state foreign operations and related programs. Here's another department that gives out millions of dollars of grants. Here's the first grant, countering global white supremacist extremism, $15,600,000. And again, I'm going to drop a link again because I want you guys to read along with me. Here's the link. It's on X. You can click on it and you can literally pull up what I'm reading. So you don't think I'm making it up. This isn't misinformation. I'm sure that one of Zuck's BS fact checkers is going to put a fact check label on it saying that I'm engaged in misinformation. That's what they always do. They'll say that I said something that I didn't even say, right? So they can figure out a way to ban me in violation of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which I get into in one of my other videos. It's okay, Julie, if your membership lapsed. Look, I'm not making money right now. I don't think anybody is, but look, the fact that you're here supporting my channel means the world to me because you're getting educated and you're going to share this information with your friends and your family members. And you have this video that you can share. Chris, you may need to be a member of X or log in before you can open it, but the link is there. So you should be able to access it. And if you can't, reach out to me after the show and I'll email it to you, okay? Or you can get it from Jilly or one of our other friends. I'm expecting everybody that's a part of Team MPE to get a hold of each other and help me form parallel systems. All of you guys should be becoming friends with each other and forming parallel systems. So like, for example, if one of you guys is a dairy farmer, now I know where I can buy my raw milk and kefir. If one of you guys makes t-shirts, now I need Team MPE t-shirts. Let's work a deal so I can sell Team MPE t-shirts to try to help people to try to help raise money for my channel. And so what's the matter? You can wear a Team MPE t-shirt. And hopefully you're getting the right kind of indoctrination. What's the matter, you? Because the truth is the ultimate antiseptic, right? Sunlight is the ultimate antiseptic. Whatever your skills are, that's right, Jilly V. All of you people should be working with each other. If you don't have a business, reach out to me. I've owned several small businesses. I had a limousine company. I owned a few health clubs. I helped start the LA Fitness in Anaheim Hills. I was #1 in sales. I used to do sales seminars for Jim Rohn. I have a lot of experience in sales and marketing. I've always been #1. I've always been good at that. And I'm willing to help you guys because I believe in you. And I believe, well, not for everybody, what's the matter, you? But he's saying that kefir causes constipation. Kefir is also a really great way to get your intestinal flora built back up. But if that doesn't work, there's other ways that I can help you understand what's the matter, you, like the papaya. And there's other ways we'll talk about in another show. But let's get into all these grants that Anti-Defamation League is getting from your paycheck to keep the false narrative of racism alive so they can keep getting more money. Remember, if they can't convince the FBI and the Democrat Party that people like me are just evil racists, they're going to lose all that money, right? They're not trying to end racism. They're trying to find ways to invent and create racism so they can keep getting your money. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree it's one of the biggest scams in American history, what these guys are doing. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree with me. We just saw a video of a judge and his cohort literally creating fake accounts on social media so they can get elected. And what are they going to do? They're going to make sure, if they get into political power, to help organizations like the ADL, because the ADL is going to donate money back to their campaigns. It is an absolute money laundering scheme. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. So let's get into the next one. We talked a little bit about the State Foreign Operations and Related Programs Initiative here. So the Offices of Special Envoy, they always give these stupid names to these grants, to monitor and combat anti-Semitism, and Special Envoy for Holocaust Issues, $3,500,000. I mean, can you imagine all the homeless veterans? There wouldn't be any homeless veterans if they would give it to those guys, right? But instead, this is all being used to support the left. It's all this money, this grant money supports the ADL, and the ADL donates money back to the left. It's just a money laundering scheme. It's all it is. Now, so International Center for Research on the Information Environment, $20 million of your money, guys. Another one, supporting Israel's normalization efforts. There's no number on that one. The next one, Interior, Environment, and Related Agencies. The Never Again Education Act, $2 million. Next one, Financial Services and General Government. Investigating, anyways, there's not numbers on these. I don't want to keep reading these because I'm getting sick to my stomach. That's right, BZ Watchdog. God bless the homeless veterans. There are so many guys like our Marine brothers who are suffering right now. Like, you know, a lot of them have committed suicide, and they're giving money to these assholes who are trying to say people like you and I are racists, right? So it's just ridiculous. So let's watch this video. Let's watch Kamala. And look, again, guys, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I believe in truth. Let's watch her lie to the American people. And then I'm going to prove to you using Snopes, which is a far left. Typically they lie about everything, but they got this one right. So I'm going to prove to you that what she said was a lie and that CBS didn't even fact check her, right? That shows you, and repeat after me, the legacy media is the enemy of the American people.
And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
And you had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned.
And this was all cut out by CNN. Remember this, guys? This several years ago, and this is what they taught on the college campuses. They got all the young kids whipped up. Trump is a racist. He's this, he's terrible. People like BZ probably still believe this because none of this stuff was presented on the news media, and they've never issued a retraction. They cut all of this stuff out and only put in that few seconds that they're good people on both sides, and they ran with that on The View, Whoopi Goldberg, and all these Nazi Marxists saying that he's a racist and this and that. They cut out all of this. Listen to what he's saying, guys, because Kamala just lied in front of the American people, and she was not fact-checked. Even after Snopes said it was a lie, she was not fact-checked, but they fact-checked him about the eating the cats and dogs. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Attorney General of Ohio specifically said there was evidence of these Haitians eating cats. He said it. There were 911 calls, and I did a show about this. 911 calls are evidence. And now we know that the mayor and the city planner actually own the homes that these Haitians live in, and they're getting massive federal subsidies to house these Haitians, which shows bias, which shows that their testimony in a court of law cannot be trusted. But you look on Google to this day, Trump lied about eating dogs and cats. There was no evidence. They ignored the fact that the Attorney General of Ohio said that there was evidence that they were eating cats and all kinds of other animals. And we know that cats and dogs and stuff like that are a delicacy in Haiti. It's part of voodoo culture. And we know that they're doing it all over New York. And now we know that the mayor and the city planner, the guy who went on there and said, oh, there's nothing to see here, they're all getting paid off by the federal government. It's all about money, guys. And they're literally lying to the American people. And the news media lies for them. The legacy media is the enemy of the American people, guys.
Totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
And you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned.
And that was completely edited out by CNN, PMS, NBC. It was completely cut out. And so people like Peter Mueller and you dummy or whoever these guys are that just popped in, they spread that same lie, that defamatory lie, by just pretending like he never said this.
Totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay?
Let's remember.
So let's get into it a little bit more. So this is just unbelievable to me. So if you don't want to believe your lying eyes, guys, since all of you leftists who just happen to pop into my program, you love Snopes, right? The Marxist couple who live in their basement, who constantly lie and make up bull crap fact check labels that are usually lies. Well, they got this one right. And let's get into it really quick. Here's what they say. No, Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. But Camel Toe got up there and lied to the American people and said it. So I just want you guys to know, and again, not a Trump supporter. I'm a libertarian. I don't support either party. I believe that we should have 50 political parties and we should vote for people based upon them promising to delete laws. I believe that the government's job is to leave us alone, except to protect commerce and basically foreign defense. Other than that, they need to leave us alone and allow the American people to prosper in a laissez-faire capitalist society, not the crony capitalism that we have today, not giving grant money to our enemies, not giving grant money to these colleges that basically teach far left Marxist ideology and brainwash our kids. No, the government should stay out of it and allow the American people to be left alone and have our own lives. There'd be a lot less taxes and a lot more freedom. Repeat after me. Less government means more freedom. Good. Right on, Donna Walter. I'm so glad you're here. Now, by the way, guys, Donna Walter is another person that is running for office, and I would really appreciate it if you would click on Dr. Walter's profile and reach out to Dr. Walter. And if you are able to afford it, to donate money to Dr. Walter's political campaigning, because Dr. Walter, like me and most of Team MPE, believe that less government means more freedom. And we need more people like Dr. Walter, people who believe in the constitutional republic, people who believe that less government means more freedom. So let's just really quick look at what Snopes had to say, because now we know, because look, PMSNBC and the Communist News Network and your blue-haired Marxist college professor are still spreading the lie that Trump said that neo-Nazis were good people. Okay, so let's look at what Snopes, another far-left organization who finally had to believe their lying eyes and look at the truth. So here we go. On August 15th, then President Trump called neo-Nazis and white supremacists who attended the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville very fine people. False. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for all you guys who still want to keep spreading that lie and keep calling this guy a racist. By the way, all the Democrats, including Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, everybody loved Trump. You know, he was definitely against racism. He was able to make Jerusalem the capital of Israel like it's supposed to be. He helped Israel do that. And you know, most of his family are Jewish. He dated a black girl. I just don't buy it. You know, you always see you college wimps trying to call people racist is a last resort to try and destroy them. Look, let Trump stand or fall on his record, but not lies. And I'll do the same for you. You know, I'll let Kamala Harris stand on her record about how she violated the law and went ahead when she was a prosecutor and violated the rules of evidence when it came to evidence that would be likely and tend to allow a defendant out of jail, and went ahead, and what she ended up doing is violating their rights, and ultimately 1,000 people had to be released because she violated the law. And I did a story about that. So that's her record, but you won't see PMSNBC, CBS, ABC talk about any of that stuff at all. You won't. And so in like What's the Matter You says, Trump has equal contempt for everybody too. Be fair to everyone. All I'm trying to say is this false narrative that anybody that the left disagrees with is a racist is bull. It's nonsense. And now you even have Snopes coming out and saying that that was a lie. But you have not seen PMSNBC or Whoopi Goldberg or any of these far left commie college professors come out and retract it. They're still spreading the same lie that Trump is a racist, which we know he's not. It's ridiculous. Now, let's get into another story, another far left. So this is a gay dude named Jussie Smollett, another Trump hater who decided that he would spread just like these judges did. And this got buried by the press, but it was all over the media. You had Michelle Obama, you had Kamala Harris. They're all coming out there saying, oh, this poor guy, he was attacked by Trump supporters, MAGA, maggots, right? And so we're going to get into the story. It's going to blow your mind if you don't know this story already, but it was just another made up story. It was a joke. Hey, Jeremiah. Hey, and that's cool, dude. You know, if you want to support Trump, whatever, I'm glad that he got those Supreme Court justices because, you know, I'm a Second Amendment guy. And so now our Second Amendment is protected. Now, if Camel Toe gets in and she packs the Supreme Court, you can kiss the Second Amendment goodbye. Now, What's the Matter You and a couple other guys have a different opinion. They think that he'll take away your guns. But based upon his Supreme Court justices, we dodged a bullet, man. I mean, now you can get concealed carry permits in Communist-fornia, it's a miracle. So, you know, give me a bunch of ones for his Supreme Court justice picks. That was amazing. You know, we had, here, I'll tell you a couple of the cases. So because of Trump's Supreme Court justice picks, we got the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, which forces the states to look at the historical context of the Second Amendment. We got Garland v. Cargill. We got United States versus Rahimi. And a lot of people say, well, Trump wanted to get rid of the bump stock thing. Well, guess what? Those justices that he put into office say that no, bump stocks don't convert a rifle into a machine gun. So I'm just telling you guys, we got some superior Supreme Court justices because of him, and I'm very proud of them. Being a Second Amendment rights attorney, man, what a big deal that was. So now here's another guy, Jussie Smollett. All right, he lied about being attacked by MAGA supporters. He staged a fake attack, just like these other Democrat judges did just recently that we discussed at the beginning of the show. If you missed it, come back and watch the full thing. But what happened was Jussie Smollett, he was having a failing acting career. He wanted to make himself relevant. He's a famous gay black actor, one of the first ones to come out. And so he accused, Trump supporters of a racist, homophobic assault in Chicago. And he ended up getting prosecuted. And ultimately, a far left district attorney helped him get out of the first charges. And she ended up getting into a lot of trouble. See how the political connections? Another, Obama supporter, DAs, George Soros bought and paid for prosecutor helped this guy get out of the charges. But ultimately, justice prevailed, but it took forever. And ultimately, he had to pay the price for lying. But again, none of this was covered by maybe 2 minutes of time by ABC, CBS, PMSNBC, CNN. Remember, guys, repeat after me. Legacy media is the enemy of the American people. They're the enemy of the American people. These guys are political hacks and nothing more. Nothing that you hear from legacy news media is true. It's all a lie unless proven otherwise from this point forward. The fact that they don't issue retractions, the fact that they don't do anything to apologize for their lies tells you everything that you need to know about their agenda. This dude here is a total scumbag. And he ultimately, he got off easy, right? But again, the damage was already done. Now Trump is a homophobe and a bigot and a racist because guess what? People still think that this is true. People still actually believe that Jussie Smollett was attacked by racist Trump supporters because they'll give it like millions of hours of time and then they'll give like 2 minutes to the fact that this dude lied and then just let it slide and hope nobody remembers. These are disingenuous people. These are not good people. Now let's get into the next one. So these are the two guys that he paid, his buddies, to stage the attack against him. Do they look like white Trump supporters? I'm just asking you. I mean, this is how ridiculous these guys are. Give me a bunch of ones if you think that these people are over the top. I mean, these two dudes are the guys that Jussie Smollett paid to wear red hats and allege that they hurled racist and slurs at him and homophobic slurs. The fact of the matter is, guys, if there was so much racism and bigotry going on, Democrats wouldn't have to pay black dudes to pretend like they're white dudes to say that they're racist Trump supporters. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree with that. Now, I mean, it's just comical, right? It's like it's comedy. I just can't even believe it. I'm beside myself. So let's hear from these guys the true story, since you'll never hear it on CNN.
Was that did it? Yeah, it was us.
Extra with an exclusive first look at Jussie Smollett, Anatomy of a Hoax.
It was a crazy scene that Jussie put on. He even said,
I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I've been accused of.
I'm like, man, you ain't your mother's son, buddy. Better get that birth certificate. Right.
And a new interview with Bola and Ola Osundaro's attorney, Gloria Rodriguez. Why did they agree to carry out this attack for Jussie in the first place?
Jussie was their friend, and they didn't want to betray their friend. And so at the end of the day, it was their trust that was taken advantage of.
I was down to do it because if we do this for him, he could probably help us out with our careers.
Jussie was someone who could really help their career. And beyond that, he was their friend. The
We'll talk, Donna.
documentary
We'll
goes
talk
into
afterwards,
great
all right?
lengths about their feelings and how they felt when Jussie asked them to beat him up.
Hitting Fox Nation March 13th, the series goes into timeline detail about the attack and how Jussie choreographed the whole thing like a script that he was directing. And the brothers take us back to the scene.
This is where we waited for Jussie to come before we attacked him. After I threw him to the ground, I used my knuckle and gave him a noogie to give him a mark to make it look real.
That's where I came around with the bleach, the infamous bleach in the hot sauce bottle.
The original plan Jussie had was for one of the brothers to douse him with gasoline. And then I believe it was Ola who said, no, I'm not doing that. I'll do bleach instead. Why the stipulation? Why is one better than the other?
That's something that they also go into in the documentary, but their ultimate decision to participate in this is very contradictory to who they are as individuals. They would never, ever be involved in a hate crime like that.
What tips me off to the narcissism is when he's looking at Robin Robertson, he says,
And I want a little gay boy who might watch this to see that I fought back.
I mean, what delusions of grandeur, right? I mean, he is creating this entire fantasy where he is the hero in it.
The 5th episode of the documentary takes a deep dive into that very issue, Billy, and it's like cringeworthy.
When he first had told me about it, I was the only one in the car with him. I didn't know what to feel. I was flustered. I was like, wait, damn, is this doing the right thing if I agreed to it?
That's doing a friend a solid. It's unfortunate that they couldn't see far enough down the road that you're also throwing a nation into turmoil.
The layers of so many different issues, politics, and
engineering racial hatred against a guy who was a hero to the Black community until he decided to run as a Republican candidate.
Social, race, all of this power dynamic just kind of blowing up in a time in America where we're already so divided and there are already so many issues.
I remember the detective that put that footage together. We both.
Just remember, guys, Trump is basically a liberal Democrat. I mean, he's always been a Democrat, and he's a tax and spend liberal. I don't consider him to be a conservative. I think that he basically plays into the religious right. The only thing that I like about him is this policy on the Second Amendment, that the justices that he put into power made it possible for me to have a few more years to be able to defend my family against all the illegal alien military-aged male criminals that the Marxist Democrats have flooded our country with over the last 3 years. Give me a bunch of ones if at least you agree with my philosophy there.
Are both thinking that don't look like two white guys walking down the street.
We was in character the whole time.
So you think you guys are believable white supremacists?
100%.
Do they feel a sense of remorse now? Did they then?
As soon as this had taken the circus status that it did, they immediately felt remorseful.
Jussie has always maintained his innocence.
I am not suicidal, and I am innocent.
And last
Clown.
week, his attorneys filed an appeal
Mental
challenging
illness.
the hate crime hoax conviction. Did Jussie reveal an intent to the brothers as to why he wanted to do this?
You know, that is the $1 million question.
Give me the $1 million answer, Gloria, because I've got to know. This thing has been troubling me for 2 years.
I know. And the $1 million answer will come from Ola and Bola Osundayo on the
Ola
documentary.
and Bola.
Okay, so you're going to make us wait for that.
Guys, truth is stranger than fiction. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree that truth is stranger than fiction. I just got to look at some of the comments before we move on to the next video. I'm seeing some good ones. So What's the Matter You says that the Republican Party isn't conservative. They're all about big government. Hey, look, dude, I agree. I'm a libertarian. I think you're right. I think that both parties are totally corrupt to the core. I think one is big government light, and one is, they pretend to be Christian, but they're not. And they all go to the same events, right? Like that, where they worship the owl. They go to these weird sex parties at Epstein Island or these Diddy parties. I think they're all part of the same club. I think the only good ones that we had were Ron Paul. I think that Rand Paul's on the money, exposing Big Pharma and all those scumbags. Now, really quick, guys, we have Dr. Donna Walter is somebody that I do support for political office because, like Thomas Aquinas, I believe that we should support politicians who know the law and mean to keep it well. Remember that. We should be putting people into office who know the law and mean to keep it well. If you put someone into office who have skeletons in their closet, like perverts, like Bill Clinton, they're easily compromised because there's probably a sex tape or something out there about them that the FBI or the Chinese intelligence or Mossad, for example, could use against them to blackmail them, to have policy changed. And so when you have people who are of chaste character, monk-like character, right? Someone who you would trust to babysit your kids, those are the kind of people that you should be electing into office. Don't put me there. Look, I'm a rough and tumble Marine. As soon as I run for office, you'll have 30 million girls coming out, accusing me of everything under the sun. Trust me. Look, before I settled down, I was an absolute womanizer. So you don't want somebody like me. You don't want someone who's capable of being compromised. You want somebody probably who was a virgin until they got married and who's of chaste character. I'm just telling you guys, those are the kind of people that you want to have in leadership positions. That's for a reason. You want to have people who are better than you, not people who are like you, not even necessarily people you can identify with. You want to have people who you look up to. That's what you want. Give me a bunch of ones if at least you understand my philosophy. I'm not expecting you to agree with me on everything. I still love you guys. You're still part of Team MPE, and I'm still part of your team. So D says honesty is the best policy. That's right. And Dr. Walter says that, honestly, Donna could be a girl or a guy's name. I'm assuming you're a girl, Donna. So that's why I always call you she. But tell us now so we know if you're a guy or a girl, because I just don't know, and I feel bad now. What's the matter, you? I am the quintessential Marine, okay? I mean, when I would go on Weekend Liberty with my fellow Marines, we would go to Oceanside and get crazy. And so, no, I'm not what you would consider to be chaste. I consider myself to be forgiven for my sins, but that doesn't mean that my enemies couldn't try to use something in my past against me. That's why I would never run for political office. I am, if you were going to call me anything, you could call me a Christian soldier. All right. I will fight for people like you, what's the matter, you, or people like Donna Walter, who are better people than me, to make sure that you can make positive change and not be fighting some scandal the whole time you're in office. You follow me? I mean, look at Trump, all the scandals, terrible, but it's his fault. I mean, he was already a flawed candidate based upon his background. Based upon him always being a Democrat all of his life. He did Democrat things like Bill Clinton. He even hung out with Epstein. Luckily, he didn't go to Epstein Island, but he knew Epstein. He's not as dirty as the heads of the government agencies that actually went to Epstein Island. Those same agencies, by the way, who lost the thousands of hours of videotape. Yeah, right. I got a bridge I want to sell you if you think they lost it. They're using that to blackmail the current occupants of the White House right now. I guarantee you that. Now let's get into the next video I'm going to share with you. This is just another little one about Jussie. I just can't get enough of Jussie, man.
We're going to move on to this. Never before seen video from the Jussie Smollett hate crime case shows what appears to be a noose around the Empire actor's neck. This video from a Chicago police body camera was taken inside Smollett's home in January, at the time when he told police he was attacked. It's part of nearly 1,200 files, including more than 90 hours of footage, all newly released by the department. Adriana Diaz has the evidence that police say proves that the attack was actually a hoax.
He is like a star. He works on the show Empire.
Police body camera video shows the moment officers first arrived at Jussie Smollett's apartment after the actor claimed he'd been attacked. Smollett still has what appears to be a noose around his neck.
Do you want to take it off or anything? Yeah, I do. I just want to see it.
Smollett told police he was assaulted by two masked men, yelling racist and homophobic slurs.
There's a bleach on me. Bleach on me.
For more than 3 weeks, at least 24 detectives searched for the two men and investigated Smollett's claims. They eventually reached this conclusion.
Smollett paid $3,500 to stage this attack and drag Chicago's reputation through the mud in the process.
Police say Smollett paid brothers Abel and Ola Osendai to stage the attack because he was angry over his salary.
Oh, where we going?
Newly released videos show the brothers on their way to the scene of the attack.
So what's going on here?
And their arrests at Chicago's O'Hare Airport less than a month later. The brothers told police Smollett paid them to conduct the attack.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one.
Smollett, who's maintained his innocence, was arrested and later charged with 16 felony counts for lying to police, charges that were later dropped by the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, stirring up massive protests. In March, we spoke to State Attorney Kim Foxx, who
Foxx, a radical Marxist Democrat, Soros-appointed prosecutor who made sure to get charges dropped. Notice how it works, guys. If you're on the wrong political party, they'll use all of their prosecutors to come after you, like they did with Orange Man. They'll get bogus charges filed against you. They'll use an all-Democrat jury to get convictions to try to taint you, so they damage you, like they did with that other guy, the Indian guy who did those movies about Obama. And anybody who's their political enemy, they act just like the old Soviet Union. Show me the man and I'll show you the crime. That's what they do. And, fortunately for Orange Man, all the charges are going to end up getting dropped against him because they were brought maliciously and illegally by prosecutors who used prosecuting him as a basis to get elected. And so it's all blowing up in their face. And all it did was make Trump a martyr, but it also made Trump a target for people who get easily incited by the news media, who are not capable of critical thinking. There's a lot of people out there who aren't like us, who are incapable of critical thinking because they just believe anything that the Democrat-run news media tells them, and they get triggered. And now they're trying to take this guy out. This guy's actually had 2 assassination attempts made on him because of people like this lady right here.
Defended the decision.
The nature of this case suggested that he was eligible for an alternative prosecution.
There's eligible.
That's right.
That's optional. You also could have moved forward and tried to go to trial with him.
We could have.
The backlash against State Attorney Kim Foxx continued long after her office dropped the charges against Smollett. A judge has ordered a special prosecutor to investigate the handling of the case, which could lead to more charges against Smollett. Anthony?
All right, Adriana, thank you.
Yeah, ultimately she got busted, and Smollett got his hand slapped. I mean, really nothing really bad happened to him. So now we're gonna get into this report again. I covered this several months ago, but on March 6th of 2024, this was a bombshell report, and this was, of course, buried by the lapdog media, the anti-family, the anti-pro-American values news media that wants to usher in this one world Obama government and take away our firearms and all of our rights and destroy our ability to worship the Lord. They treat people who are Christians as crazy people. And now we're going to get into this. So this is a new report that exposes massive government surveillance on Americans' financial data. And this ties in again. If you watch the show from the beginning, you'll understand why I covered Smollett, because this is based upon primarily, well, it is just Democrats who make up false stories about racist attacks because they can't find a real racist. So they have to create fake ones. And it all leads back to government grants and funding for organizations like the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center. So the House Judiciary Committee and its select subcommittee, and I dropped the link for you guys to look at it and follow it with me, released a report titled Financial Surveillance in the United States, How Federal Law Enforcement Commandeered Financial Institutions to Spy on Americans. And the report reveals alarming evidence of federal law enforcement engaging in broad financial surveillance, prying into the private transactions of American consumers. This surveillance is not predicated on evidence of criminal conduct. No, it targeted terms, keywords, in transactions related to core political and religious expression protected by the Constitution. So if you talked about the Second Amendment or firearms or a Bible, you were placed on a list of what's called potential domestic violent extremists. That's why if you go to the airport right now, like me and my family, we always get secondaried, and we have little S's on our pass, our flight, whatever they call that thing, your ticket, whatever it's called, boarding pass. And that's done because the left is targeting me as a political enemy. How dare I shop at Dick's? How dare I support the Second Amendment or go to church? Now they've illegally gotten their hands on my bank data. Look, I'm not making this up. This isn't a conspiracy theory, guys. This is the report. It specifically tells you everything that I'm telling you is in this report. This isn't a conspiracy theory. So you goofballs, like you jackwagons, who are like trying to gaslight me. If you're in the sidebar, I'm not even looking, but I'm assuming there's a bunch of, bought and paid for political collaborators who are trying to say, oh, you're just making stuff up. Oh. It's right here, guys. It's in black and white. Federal law enforcement, including the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Network, FinCEN, and the FBI, facilitated back-channel discussions with financial institutions to gather Americans' private financial information. These discussions involved some of the largest financial institutions in the United States, such as Barclays, U.S. Bank, Charles Schwab, HSBC, Bank of America, PayPal, and many others. Tactics included keyword filtering of transactions, targeting terms like, you guys ready? Targeting terms like MAGA and Trump, as well as purchases of books, religious texts, firearms-related items, and recreational stores like Cabela's, Bass Pro Shop, and Dick's Sporting Goods. Okay, so I'm not going to read the whole damn thing because it's a huge report, but here's what I am going to do. This is like the 58 or 88 page document that's attached to that cover page. So when you guys click on the link that I sent you, there's a link that you can click that opens this PDF. And the reason why this is so important, good, what's the matter? You? Thanks for doing your job, all you guys with your wrenches. That's why I gave you guys wrenches, so you could keep all these morons out of the chat. Because they don't bring anything constructive. They'll just say, oh, you're lying, you're making stuff up. Even though I've got the evidence. I'm a lawyer. I'm not just going to say things. When I tell you guys something, I will present verifiable evidence, because that's what I do. I don't make things up like they do, like Jussie Smollett does, like CBS does, like CNN does, and then accuse people like me of misinformation when they're the primary purveyors of misinformation. I don't make things up like Hillary, who then says that people like me are engaged in misinformation when she lies through her teeth. I actually provide the evidence for you guys to see with your own eyes. So let's read a little bit, because this is now you're going to understand why I talked about the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center, because they're the ones that are behind this program. Okay, de facto. It's because of the reports that they gave to their friends at the FBI that these people are being targeted. Okay, and we're going to get, it's covered in this it's covered in this report. Okay, it's covered in this report. These people who've already lied, the ADL has already lied, trying to set up Nazi rallies, faking it, setting up fake Nazi rallies so they can keep getting government funding. That's all they do. They make up a bunch of bull crap so they can keep getting tax money to keep the false dream of racism alive that Obama really reinstituted, right? It was so good. And then he got in there and basically, in my opinion, tried to start a race war. Now let's take a look. This is called The Financial Surveillance in the United States, How Federal Law Enforcement Commandeered Financial Institutions to Spy on Americans. Look, you guys should be up in arms about this. I don't understand why this isn't on the front page of every newspaper. Well, I do understand why, because they're basically political propaganda organizations who support the current people that are in the White House right now. So this is the interim staff report, Committee on the Judiciary and Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government in the U.S. House of Representatives. It's dated March 6 of 2024. I'm going to take right now this PDF and I'm going to drop it right here. Right here. I'm going to drop it right here for you guys to open it up and look at it. Now, Frank Valley says, time me out for 1 hour. I don't understand. No one banned Frank. So, Frank, if you are a commie, we don't want you here, but if you're a good person, we do for sure. Now, I thought I did see somebody with an F the other day that seemed really cool. So I'm not really sure what's going on. Can you cuss to get out to get banned? I'm not really sure what's going on, guys, with Frank, but if Frank's the same guy that was here the other day with the F, I think that he was a pretty good guy. But I'll let the mods make up their decision. Let's get into what this, okay, that's cool. Right on. What's the matter, you? So March 6, 2004. So here's the executive summary. The Committee on the Judiciary and its Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government are charged by the House of Representatives with upholding fundamental American civil liberties. As part of this mission, they have uncovered startling evidence that the federal government was engaged in broad financial surveillance, prying into the financial transactions of American consumers. This surveillance was not predicated on any specific evidence of criminal conduct. Instead, it was based on key terms in purchases that they made. So I'm going to breeze through it because it's so much. It's just huge. I want to get into the part about the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center. Yeah, but again, again, remember, guys, mods don't time each other out. So once I've given you guys a wrench, don't time out fellow mods. That's unsat. It'd be like two Marines, shooting each other just because you're gotten an argument over a chick. Unacceptable. No, we're brothers for life. That's how it works, and sisters too. So basically, what they did is they formed a partnership with a private organization so they could use that private organization to mine data. Okay, because that way they could avoid getting search warrants, which they're required to do under the Fourth Amendment. In other words, like they always do, the FBI violated your Fourth Amendment rights, like they always do. They constantly are doing this. They're spying on me right now. I'm on a no-fly. I'm on a list where I constantly get secondaried at the airport, and like I'm the last dude that's going to cause trouble at an airport. You know what I mean? Like I'm a father, just trying to get through customs or whatever, teach my kids how to be good citizens. And we get harassed because I believe in the Second Amendment and I don't like the current administration. I definitely don't like Obama. I think that he was a Trojan horse. I think that he didn't do anything good for the Black community at all, and that he uses his skin color as a Trojan horse to promote anti-family values and to basically hurt the Black community, in my opinion. Now, following the January 6th, the FBI shared an intelligence product titled Domestic Violent Extremists Likely Emboldened After the Capitol Breach. And now we know, based upon, and I can't discuss this too much because I'll get banned, but there's plenty of evidence now that whole thing was a joke. They exculpatory evidence was not allowed into the investigation. We know that the president's tweet was immediately removed from social media, saying to be peaceful and don't cause trouble. We know that he tried to get the National Guard, and then the committee ignored that and didn't even discuss the fact that he wanted to have the National Guard there. So there's a lot of evidence that's coming out that there were tons of FBI agents there, and that there were Antifa members dressed in MAGA clothing, causing a lot of trouble, and that they knew about it and that they kept that secret from the American people because they hate this guy so much. So, and again, I'm not a Trump supporter, but you got it. Look, if they can do it to this guy, I'm going to share this with you one more time. Okay. They came for the Jews, but I wasn't Jewish, so I didn't do anything. They came for the military veterans, but I wasn't a military veteran, so I didn't do anything. They came for the Christians, but I wasn't a Christian, so I didn't do anything. And then they came for me, but there was nobody there to defend me or protect me or my rights. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys is I don't care about Trump or Redman or any of that stuff. What I care about is I care about fundamental decency and honesty. And if they're going to allow stuff like this to happen to Trump because they don't like his personality or whatever, and you guys just go along with it and go, well, it's not me. No, it's going to happen to you. Once your political enemy gets power, they're going to do it to you. And our whole system is going to break down. There won't be any justice in this world anymore. And that's what I'm fighting for, is justice and honesty and decency. I want my children to grow up in a society where we don't have thought police showing up at their doorstep because they posted something about a political candidate they didn't like, or they made a comment or a joke at school about somebody because they had a lisp, right? And then they got accused of homophobia or something. That's what I'm concerned with. And that's why I am standing up for freedom and decency. So we're going to expose this report really quick. So basically they used January 6th, which many people say they were in part responsible for creating, right, as a pretext to illegally spy on the American people. And this is based upon this report from Congress. So it's not me saying it. So make sure to put in the sidebar, this is a reaction video, right? This is a reaction video. I'm merely repeating what Congress said. All right. And John Smith, if he wants to make fun of people with lisps, then let him. But don't sit there and try to use that as a basis to throw him in prison or come up with false charges and deny him his fundamental due process rights. That's ridiculous. That's un-American. I wouldn't do that to you, John Smith. John Smith, if you know, I don't think that he did, John Smith, but I think that there's overwhelming evidence that that was a setup. And I think that this report corroborates that. Now, again, I'm not saying one way or another because I don't want to get banned by the thought police, right? Because you're not allowed to talk about that unless it's disparaging against President Trump. You can only say bad things about Trump. If you say anything bad about the January 6th committee or anything else, you could potentially be banned from the platform. So we don't do that. And that's why, by the way, just really quick, I want you guys to consider supporting Chili DeCastro's new website, teamdlz.com, where you can get uncensored access to his videos and become part of his community. I don't know how much it costs or anything like that. I just want you guys to support it because I care about Chili, and I think he got a raw deal. And I think that that you guys need to consider checking out his channel. I'm going to drop his link in here right now into the chat bar again, teamdlz.com. Now let's get back into this PDF of the findings of our own Congress that that basically the FBI illegally used this January 6th thing as a pretext to be able to spy on people who buy religious books or firearms related items or who shop at Dick's or Cabela's sporting goods. And they created this illegal surveillance program that encompassed millions of Americans. You guys are being spied on if you shopped at Dick's Sporting Goods, or if you have conservative viewpoints or you support the Second Amendment. And so really quick, the full report is, I'm going to click on it right here, and I'm going to put you up on the screen. All right. So basically, you were spied on and put on a watch list if you used any in your emails or in your purchase agreements terms like MAGA or Trump. That would automatically begin an ostensible investigation into you as being part of January 6th. This is how they did it, guys. And remember, we know that Antifa were dressed as Trump supporters. We know now that there were undercover officers there from the government, probably based on what I've read in some reports, almost as many as there were Trump supporters. I mean, like in the thousands from what I've read. Can't prove it, YouTube thought police, so don't come after me for merely repeating what I've read in reports. Now, if you purchase books, including religious texts or subscriptions from other media containing what they call extremist viewpoints, and this is why I talked about the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center, because they're the ones who created the guidelines. They created the guidelines for this, for the FBI to spy on us illegally. And we just saw at the very beginning of the show that the ADL, and we know the Southern Poverty Law Center has similar things that they've done, but the ADL literally tried to create a fake Nazi based on reports, and I believe that they're true because they've never been refuted. They tried to create a fake Nazi rally so they could try to raise money to try to get government grants to fight Nazism. So they constantly are trying to create So it's not enough to not be racist anymore. Now you have to be what's called an anti-racist. You have to prove that you're fighting against racism. And now if you're, you have to support critical race theory, which means if you have like light skin, that means you're naturally, automatically an oppressor. And anyone who has dark skin is oppressed. And they call it cultural Marxism. So that enables them to keep getting government grants because they can say, well, there's all this racism and we have to fight it. So you have to keep giving us billions of dollars. And so they helped create this information that enabled the FBI to spy on you and I through this illegally through this organization called FinCEN. So FinCEN distributed materials to financial institutions, instructing them on how to use merchant category codes to search through transactions to detect potential criminals or extremists. Guys, you're an extremist if you shop at Dick's Sporting Goods. Hello. So if you shopped at Cabela's, Bass Pro Shop, Dick's Sporting Goods, and again, this is the next link I'm going to drop for you guys, so you can't accuse me of engaging in misinformation or being a MAGA. Just click on the link that I just put in the sidebar and read it and weep. And for all you leftist communists who are accusing me of misinformation, just open it up and try not to believe your lying eyes, because once you read this, the cognitive dissonance will be so overwhelming, you'll probably explode. But again, Americans doing nothing other than shopping or exercising their Second Amendment rights were being tracked by financial institutions and federal law enforcement. Despite these transactions having no criminal nexus, FinCEN seems to have adopted the characterization of these Americans as potential threat actors and subject to surveillance. And this is because of the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center. And you're going to read further down that they're the ones who put out this information. This is a huge report. I'm going to try to quickly find it. Let me see if there is a search feature. Give me 1 second, guys, because it's just so much. Let me see if I can get right to it. Yeah, it's just not letting me do the search. Let me see if it does anti. We'll do that one. Okay, anti. Let me see if we can find Anti-Defamation League in here. Yeah, Antifa. Okay, I'm not able to find Anti-Defamation League. But if you're anti-abortion, you're considered a potential domestic violent extremist. If you are, if you're Antifa or Black Lives Matter, you're no problem. You're good. No issues there. See how it works? So if you're part of their political structure, you're not considered a potential domestic violent extremist. That's how bad this is. Let me just see if I can find. I'll just type in poverty. This is basically how they do it. They just do a keyword search, and if any of the words match, Bible, domestic violent extremist, Smith & Wesson, oh my God, it's a gun. Clearly a white racist, white supremacist. That's literally what they were doing. And so let's get into, let me just see if I can find anything else here that you haven't seen. So if you're an individual who traveled to Washington, D.C. and engaged in a lawful protest, you're considered a domestic violent extremist. If you use terms like murder media, you're a domestic violent extremist. Here is the actual report from the Office of Private Sector from the Liaison Enforcement Bureau. It's all connected to that link. Read it and weep, guys. In fact, if you guys are really serious and you want to support my channel, do a book report for me, man, and come back and I'll have you on as a guest so you can break down this report. Because, you know, again, I do personal injury law for a living, and it's hard for me to do all this by myself. But basically, there's a traffic light protocol that they give you. So who you can and can't share the information with. I mean, it's crazy. It's unbelievable. There's redacted emails. Ahead of next week's inauguration, I want to touch base on a couple of things. If either or both of you have time, we need to discuss the SARS and a couple of important ideas. And this is coming from the FBI, right? They're literally talking about spying on the American people based on our bank records that they illegally got information from. Please, what's the matter, you? If you can help me in any way, shape, or form, break this stuff down. The American people need to know about this. If you purchased a hotel room for inauguration day, you need to go on the list of potential domestic violent extremists. All right here. If you were on the airline or traveled to a DMV area for Inauguration Day, you're a domestic violent extremist. See, DMV means domestic violent extremist. That's all that means. It's crazy. And they have these emails brainstorming how to arrest people, even if they didn't commit a crime. It's all right here. The emails, everything's right here, guys. So all you people who accuse me of engaging in misinformation or being an orange man, Trump supporter, any of that, no, I'm not. I support the Constitution. And clearly, look, here's the keywords. So if you used any of these keywords, president, Trump, Kamala, Biden, die, kill, shoot, you're on the list of domestic. Schumer, you're on the list of lone actor, homegrown, violent extremism. These are called lone actor, homegrown, violent extremism indicators. And this information is coming from organizations like the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center. That's where they're getting this from, guys. These people are basically the enemy of the American people. If you're somebody who supports the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, you're put on this list. If you make frequent ATM withdrawals and wire transfers with no apparent economic or business purpose, dude, doesn't this sound like the Soviet Union? I mean, this is not the America that I want my kids to grow up in. I'm devastated when I read this stuff. Can you believe that we have public servants that are looking at our bank purchases, seeing if we made too many ATM withdrawals, and then they put us on a no-flight list, or they surveil us? They look at our bank inquiries. They try to say we might be a potential active shooter based on our bank data. I mean, it's all right here for you guys to look at. This is just unbelievable, guys. I mean, look, I've looked through this stuff before, but as I'm looking at this, I'm literally starting to get emotional. They have codes for you. 3484, small arms. 3489 if you purchased accessories like a bump stock. 5091 if you shopped at a sporting goods store. So they're assigning codes to your official government file. This is your social credit scoring system that the Democrats want to usher in. Once they have their digital currency, all of this is going to be secretly connected to your social credit score, which means they can lock you down like the Canadians are already doing to truckers and people who don't support communism in that country. So, here we go. Here's the keyword exclusions. Here's the list. Amazon, angler, archery, bait. All transactions must have, if you use any of this stuff, you won't. So, look, I don't want to get into it too much, but just read the report. Now, they have a 60-day rollback period, an SME adjustable parameter. And again, this is information that they obtained illegally, and they're using this to spy on you. They didn't get search warrants to get any of this data, okay? And they're trying to say you might be an active shooter, and they assign codes to you. So if you have words like Academy, Aero Precision, AIM Surplus, if you support any of these organizations that support legal immigration, or let me see here, or if you purchase a gift card to buy crypto, if you use a debit card to buy crypto, you're on the list of potential domestic violent extremists. If you use code terms like calls to action, or use words like IED and firearms. So if I'm writing a story about my friend who was blown up by an IED over in Afghanistan, and he's got a brain injury, he was in the Marine MARSOC unit, Marine Special Operations Command, special skills component. If I'm writing a story like that, now I'm going to be on this list, and it's based on ATM, credit, and debit transactions that they illegally obtained. I mean, guys, look at this, a huge email string. Emails from the FBI to Western Union, Wells Fargo. It's a group email. In advance of today's discussion, we've attached a slide from FinCEN containing. So basically, they're making your bank hate you as well. They're going, hey, if you got customers like this, you might want to consider ditching them. That's kind of what they're saying, aren't they? Because these people might be domestic violent extremists. Think about that, guys. I mean, they're literally sending group emails to your bank. If you use Patreon, oh, check it out, guys. If you use GoFundMe, if you use Patreon, Indigo, Rocket Hub, Fundable, Fundly, CrowdRise, WeFunder, CirclePup, you're on the list of potential domestic violent extremists. This is no joke, guys. This is real. This is real. This is your country right here. Confidential, committee staff only. Thank you, Jeff, for supporting my channel. You know, look, and again, guys, I'm not making any money for doing this. I'm putting my own career and everything about what I do in jeopardy now because I'm exposing this corruption. So, and anything that you do to support my channel with super chats or getting a copy of my book, 1999 copy of my book and any of that stuff, guys, it means a lot to me. $20, used to be, to me, would be like, a couple of, maybe a margarita for lunch. But now that $20, I'm looking at it like, to you, that might be worth $500. So anything that you can do to help me support my channel, to spread this information so people know what's going on in their country. I'm just kind of scrolling through this really quick to see if I can find anything that I can really quickly cover. I mean, it would literally take me a week to go through this. There's so much information. But just imagine if we had a single party system, which could easily happen with all these illegal aliens. I mean, they could flip the whole country blue just using the census data. That's why we need to send these people back. I mean, they're giving them free phones, free food, free hotels. You think any of those people are going to vote Republican? Of course not. They're going to vote Democrat because Democrats are giving them everything for free. So of course they're going to vote for the Democrats. They're giving them everything for free out of your paycheck. So that's kind of that. And then if you want to support my channel really quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up. I mean, if you can afford to, if you can't afford to, support me by volunteering your time, by helping me with my website, helping me write articles. Hold on one second. Really quickly. If you want to get a copy of my ebook, it's a living ebook. All right. And all you have to do is go to my channel at Michael Ehline, and I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to put it in here right here. All you have to do is click on that, and that'll take you to my channel, my Michael Ehline YouTube channel. And if you just click on right here where it says more, you open that up, and it takes you to links. And again, Jilly, yes, I will. Jilly, I will try to get some other payment apps. Again, I'm doing this all by myself. If somebody can help me and volunteer some time, I'd really appreciate it. Because I'm doing stuff that no one else is doing. There's no lawyer out there who has enough testicles to do the stuff that I'm doing, to literally put my life in jeopardy by exposing this corruption. And you guys know it. You guys know that I'm exposing myself to a lot. This is no joke for me, guys. I mean, I am a true patriot. I love my country. I was willing to sacrifice my life as a U.S. Marine. And I never stopped being a Marine. All enemies, foreign and domestic. The administrative state has become the enemy of the American people. And you see it right before your eyes. It's just like what's going on in communist China. They're using the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, blueprint, what do they call it? Agenda 2030. And they're just trying to push this one world government on us. And people like you and I, who are free thinkers, who don't support digital currency, who don't support social credit scores, who don't support censoring people's speech, we're their enemy. And so if you want to help me support my channel so I can have more time to come on and do the show and build the channel more and help me do articles and help me with the michaelehline.com website, reach out to me. I need help. And I've dropped links. You're right, Julie, I've dropped links to everything. So you can see that I'm not lying or engaged in misinformation. The people engaged in disinformation are your public school teachers, your leftist college professors, the Obama Biden administration, the FBI and the CIA. They're the ones engaging in misinformation. They're the ones engaging in these illegal spying operations, skirting the Fourth Amendment, not me. I'm simply exposing it. If you want to support my channel, I'd really appreciate it. All you have to do, if you want, You can give me a super chat, sure, or you could get a copy of my ebook. And the way that you can do that is just go here to my homepage, and I'll drop the link again. And you can click on that bad chicken right there, and that'll take you to the Michael Ehline channel. And then you just go click on click on my right here where it says Michael Ehline more. Open this up. It says links, and just go to the PayPal link, and you can get a copy. And by the way, click on my Reddit. Follow me on Reddit. Follow me on X and Instagram, and check out the law firm website as well. And then the michaelehline.com website. That's my personal blog where I talk about things that matter to me personally. And again, everything that I do here is separate and apart from my work as a personal injury lawyer. And then really quick, I'll just kind of show you what I have. So what you would be purchasing would be a digital version of my ebook, My Journey to Becoming a Practicing Lawyer with No Law Degree or Undergrad. And it would be a digital version of this, not this paperback. I'm showing this to you because it has the same book cover. So it's, this is the soft cover prototype that I have. The problem is it would cost me so much to bring it to market that it wouldn't be cost effective with shipping and handling. It wouldn't be cost effective. I know most of my audience are older and they're either retired or semi-retired. They don't have a lot of money. They're just patriots like me and they love America. So if you get my digital ebook, it's a living ebook. It's $19.99 and it covers my journey on what I did. So I became a lawyer with no undergrad or law degree. I passed the baby bar, and then I passed the California State Bar, and then I got a law degree afterwards. So I was already a practicing lawyer. I tried 3 cases as a certified law student before I was an attorney. I had done at least 40 or 50 depositions by the time I passed the bar. And I was doing appellate work and advanced litigation because I started out as a paralegal. So I already had the practical knowledge, and I just studied under lawyers. I ended up becoming an extern for the California Court of Appeal, which is a great honor. And not even people who have gone to Harvard have had an opportunity to clerk for an appellate justice. And I ended up purchasing a home a few houses down from that same appellate justice, believe it or not. It became a very successful attorney, and I am a disabled vet, so ultimately I had some health issues, and then Gavin Newsom shut down our economy and it destroyed our law firm, and I'm trying to rebuild the law firm now. We'd invested millions of dollars into advertising and billboard ads, and of course there was no more car accidents, or very few, when the economy was shut down, and my business involved car and motorcycle accidents, so it really hurt us bad. But because I'm a positive thinker and I have that Marine Corps can-do attitude, I'm not looking back, I'm looking forward. And it ultimately led me to you guys and Chili de Castro. And so again, if any of you guys have gotten in a bad car accident, a slip and fall, have been injured at work, you can reach out to me. Even if I can't help you, I'll try to help you find someone who can. Just remember, that's what I do. I'm an injury attorney. I do negligence law. And I helped draft the Cruise Ship Safety Act. I do maritime law as well. And Hans, I do believe that if you love your children, you will flee California. Absolutely. Unless you have enough money to homeschool your kids, because they're just brainwashing kids into being good little Marxists. And we don't need that. They don't even teach the Constitution. They don't teach the Bill of Rights. I mean, the reason why we had a Revolutionary War is because the king tried to seize our guns. It was about powder houses. They don't teach that, Hans, in our schools. Why would I want you to have your kids brainwashed and not taught the reality that our country was born in violent revolution because we wanted to be free from the chains of Europe? And now we have Klaus Schwab and we have Bill Gates trying to make America Europe again. No. That's unacceptable to me. And California has become a single party state. Gavin Newsom just made it law that you cannot show an ID to vote. If there was ever an argument for shadiness and dodginess, give me a break. Voting's a big deal. The person you're going to put into office is going to have their finger on the nuclear trigger. They're going to have their hands on your money to give to organizations like the ADL, who we already know has a history of trying to create false racist narratives. We just saw another story at the beginning of the show about another Democrat judge who tried to create a fake social media account to make it look like racist MAGA supporters were attacking him, trying to prevent him from becoming a judge. We saw Jussie Smollett doing the same thing, and then a George Soros prosecutor letting him off the hook because they're part of the same political class. I mean, these people are no good. They're evil. These people you shouldn't have your kids, and you shouldn't celebrate or participate in a government that doesn't respect your unalienable fundamental rights. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. So with that being said, Dr. Donna Walter, reach out to me through BZ Watchdog or go to the michaelehline.com website, and I will try to put together some kind of a GoFundMe, and I'll try to, maybe me and Chili can try to put together a fundraiser for you to support your political campaign. I'm more than happy to do that. Raymond Knopp, I'm not an immigration lawyer, but if I can help you in any way, I will. I support legal immigration. I want people to come into our country, but I want them to pledge allegiance to our country and learn about our history, to learn about our revolution, to learn about the Second Amendment, and that our country was born based upon the fact that the king was trying to disarm us, just like Gavin Newsom, just like Kamala Harris, just like Obama is trying to do, right? They're literally trying to do what the king tried to do to us. And I want people to come into this country to know that the very first act of our revolution was based upon the king trying to seize our powder houses and take away our ability to fight off an oppressive government. And so I absolutely want legal immigration. I want people to come into our country who don't get free phones, who don't get free hotels, who don't get free everything at taxpayers' expense. I want people to come into our country because they can provide something to the country, that they could maybe serve in the military and become a naturalized citizen by serving in the military, like in ancient Rome, that they can come here and maybe bring a skill like they're a doctor or maybe a plumber or an electrician. We're in desperate need of people like that. But no, not just flood the country with illegals so they can win elections and change the census data so they can redistrict. Absolutely not. That's un-American. To me, that's treason. And then Jeff, thank you for supporting the show. Age Go all the way. And then Jilly V, thank you for acknowledging that I'm providing all the points and authorities and evidence for all the naysayers and people who are trying to accuse me of misinformation, which we know are just a bunch of bought and paid for hacks. And then again, let's all support Donna Walter and rally around Donna Walter. I know Donna Walter. I've known Donna Walter, I think, for at least 6 months now. And I believe that Donna Walter is a chaste and honest individual and someone worthy of supporting. And then Hyperwave, more than happy to let you watch the video again, and you can look at all the sources that I provided. And then in this chat, you're more than welcome to click on the links that I provided or get them from Jilly V. And let me see here, Dakota, thanks for coming. And what's the matter, you as always? I don't know what you mean by stop saying all these words. Yeah, right. Right. I'm going to get you in trouble for saying the words off the list. Sorry about that. Jeff, thank you for the super chats. And then Majolner's Wrath. You look like you're a friend. You look like a Viking warrior with that beard. So you're probably one of us. And let me see here. Silver D5. Yeah. Antichrist beast system. No question about it, brother. And then of course, Cops are 5150. Thank you for supporting my channel. And again, if you guys can't afford to get my book, or you can't afford to support the channel with super chats or buy memberships, man, if there's a way that somebody, if you know coding, if you know HTML5, if you know how to do WordPress, I need volunteers to help me with article writing, to help me with editing, to help me with getting out emails to our members, and help me start a political action committee to support candidates who support the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, regardless of what political party they're in. And then anybody who wants to help me support Chile, I'm always down for supporting Chile de Castro. Jessica C., you look new to me, but you look beautiful. I love that. You look like a Viking shield maiden with that blonde hair. You remind me of my Swedish ancestors when I would go to family parties. I used to have platinum blonde hair, and I was a surfer. So I just had this long platinum hair, and I was so proud of being a Swedish and Norwegian when I was a kid, but always more proud of being an American. And that's the difference. You can be proud of being African American. You can be proud of being Italian American, but you wave an American flag, guys. You wave an American flag. You don't see me waving Swedish flags. I wave an American flag. You don't see me waving a rainbow flag. You see me waving an American flag or a Marine Corps flag, because I'm a Marine, right? And then Cops are 5150 again. Thank you. Frank Valley, looks like you were a troll, so I don't thank you. D, thanks for coming to the channel and hanging out with me for a couple hours. Looks like we had a long one. We almost did 3 hours today, guys. It's a long one. But it was worth it, because I don't know that I'm going to be able to come on tomorrow. I'm going to have a really busy day. Stone Guys, ASMR, thanks for coming on the show and your laughter and just keeping us happy. Michelle Henry, I know you're back at work, but I'll be looking out for your phone call tonight around 11, or unless you email me your phone number and I'll call you. But try to call me because I'll probably be crashed out. I'm taking pain medication right now. I think I tore my calf muscle. So that's probably why I don't seem like my normal hyper self tonight. But it looks like I've tried to list everyone. Oh, Brick Jonesy, thanks for coming. 478 times. Thank you for coming. And BZ Watchdog, as always, Age Go. So anyways, that was the show for tonight. Let me just give a shout out to the Marine Corps. Don't hang up just yet, guys. I'm going to give you a little bit of fun. So just stay with me before you go. Let's get some patriotic music going. And I am under arms, by the way. I've got an FNP 45 right next to me. God bless America. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. God bless you. God bless America. Semper Fi. Do or die.